Hello, everyone, and welcome to the final presentation of many presentations for the past few weeks now for the EVMxIdeathon event. This event has been put on by the EOS Network Foundation and Helios, and this has been basically a culmination of the various ideas throughout the Antelope and EOS community, plus a bunch of other new people who are new to us, who've come in to present their ideas and also present their projects for the EVM track. So this is an event that had two distinct tracks. One was an EVM hackathon traditional, code it, deploy it to a test net. That's the Trust EVM test net. And then the other track was an Ideathon, where you didn't have to have any code at all. You just had to have an idea. And we've all got ideas. So it was no surprise that we had hundreds and hundreds of registrants. We had over 600 registrants and 170 project submissions, which for an event with only $125,000 in prizes available is really quite impressive. As told to us by the DevPost team, they were quite impressed with the projects that we saw and the level of participation. For those who were not aware, there were 5. So that for the Trust EVM, there was a single purpose, and that was GameFi. And then for the Ideathon, we had 5 separate project categories. Those were DeFi, which is decentralized financial instruments or tools that do not rely on a trusted third party or intermediaries and leverage smart contracts on a public blockchain. Then GameFi, which applies to basically both the Trust EVM and the Ideathon, which is a play-to-earn blockchain game based games that provide mechanics to yield economic incentive for players to play or interact with the game. Then we had Gov3, which is decentralized governance services or tools that empower individuals, communities to meaningfully interact and collaborate when establishing consensus or rules on mechanisms by which people distribute power and control. Then we had Web3, decentralized application services or tools that explicitly disintermediate an interaction and value exchange to therefore increase the maximum value potential remitted to or saved by an end user or customer. And finally, we had social good, decentralized applications, services, or tools that leverage a public blockchain while improving the quality of life for the most people in the biggest way. Each of these projects is going to be measured or scored by our soon-to-be introduced judges for this live event. And those were 4 categories. Impact. Is this the missing killer blockchain application? Can it lead to mass adoption? How innovative is this project? Does it expand beyond the current norms for the particular category it was entered into? We had viability. How feasible is it really to produce and actualize this project? Can it realistically be deployed onto an Antelope blockchain? Is the project achievable within a reasonable budget and timeline? Then we had creativity. How unique is the idea? Is this something that we've seen before or a cutting edge idea pushing the limits of what's possible on a public blockchain? And finally, presentation. How well is the project presented? Does the individual or team inspire confidence that they can deliver if empowered to execute? So those are the categories. Those are the judging criteria. For those who are preparing for this, especially from the Ideathon track, we had a series of live stream webinars and workshops. And certainly anyone here after this event closes, you're very welcome to and encouraged to check those out to build an idea. That just because this event has ended does not mean that your ideas can't be presented, refined, and then proposed to the various funding sources and institutions within the ecosystem to actually get it built. And for those workshops, we had a design thinking workshop, which was hosted by Ben Sigmund, who will be one of our judges brought up shortly. We had a pitch deck workshop, which was presented by Gabriel Shaw of Helios on how to create a pitch deck. Then we had the Antelope workshop that was given by Eric from the EOS Network Foundation. And that's just educating us about what the Antelope blockchain tech stack can do, how you should or shouldn't interact with that. Then we had tokenomics gamification by Darren Swords, who will also be brought up shortly as a guest. And then finally, we had community development and marketing workshop by Helios's own Chris Waxa. So with all of that behind us, what we've got going on today is a series of live pitches. We're kicking this off. We got 9 minutes, 10 minutes in total, a minute of filler. This is live. Things will go wrong. So bear with us as we fumble our words and have someone with technical issues. It is almost certainly guaranteed we will have a problem here, but we will do our best and the show must go on. So we've got 9 minutes per project. They're going to come up in order, and basically each presenter will have time to present either their pitch. Some have a live video for us to watch. And then once that's completed, the panel of judges will have an opportunity to ask some questions. but this is short. I'm going to be cutting people off on the minute. Like, we're going to keep to a schedule. Someone might be mid-sentence, and I'm going to have to, unfortunately, cut them off. So that's how it's going to go. We're going to start in the order of the projects. We've got DeFi first, then we've got social good, Gov3, GameFi, Web3. Once all that's done, then it's the Trust EVM's turn to come on, and Ida from the Trust EVM team is going to basically introduce how that went, that track. And we've got 3 of the finalists of the top prizes from the EVM. They're going to demo their project during this presentation. Then we're going to come back and we're going to have the judges present who the winners were from the Ideathon. And then after that, we've got a keynote speech from Brock Pierce, and we'll wrap it up. So this is all, hopefully stick with us, comment if you can. We'll probably try to get some comments and questions maybe from the live audience as we go. We'll see how it all plays out. But with that, with no further ado, let's bring the judges onto the screen. Let's see, we've got Zach Gall from the EOS Network Foundation, a man who requires no introduction, I'm sure. We've got Darren Swords from the UX Network in Origin. He was the gamification tokenomics guru who helped us there. Nathan James, also from the EOS Network Foundation, requires no introduction as well. Everyone knows who that guy is. We've got Yves LaRose, the CEO and Executive Director of the EOS Network Foundation, and also no introduction required. And Ben Sigmund from Helios and Libra, Bitcoin Libre chain. And these are our judges. Thank you everyone for being here today. And I think we can just get it going. We're behind time. We don't have time for everyone to talk anyway. So the very first project we've got is Starting Blocks. Starting Blocks. All right. So we'll get the timer going here. We're 13 minutes past, but we're not bad. We'll bring Jim on screen. Jim, you're on there and you're good to go. Take it away.
Alrighty. So let's see if we'll just rewind that.
Why howdy, it's gold rush out there, and if you want to strike it big, you need to venture a little bit further to the outskirts to find the next big gold mine. Problem is, it's still the Wild West, and there's a lot of bandits out there willing to swindle you. There's a whole heap of rug pulls and honeypots, and a lot of projects willing to take your money and just run. Instead of investing, you may as well have just spent your money down at the brothel, because no one's safe while these bandits are at large. So if you want to, you need to get in on the ground level. You need to get in early before anyone's bad. Look great on paper, but it's hard to tell until they actually get away. And if bandits are involved, sure enough, you may as well have just kissed goodbye to your hard-earned money. Now, if you want to get rich, you gotta understand risk versus reward, and you gotta get in early. ICO was the original Wild West funds. Just throw a wallet up and get people to put some tokens in it. It's pretty high risk, pretty high reward. Now, an IEO is the opposite. It's a fully vetted project by the exchange. But the problem is, most of the gold's already gone. Pretty low risk and pretty low reward. Now, I know it's cool. It needs a lot of liquidity, so a good, decent project needs a lot of cash up front. Problem is, there's still lots of bandits in there, because they ain't vetted. Now, a launch pad's pretty cool, but it's still about 50-50. Some of the launch pads pre-vet them, but there's nothing stopping people from launching multiple launch pads, and they're still stopping them bandits. Now, let's talk about starting blocks. What it is it's kind of like Kickstarter with smart contracts. What we do is we vet the people and we rigorously look at the project and we vet that, because there's no point giving people money if we can't actually achieve something. So what we do is we wait until we get just the right amount of money to build it all out, and then we give it to them. But one big piece, because that's silly. They could just run away with it. what we do is we drip feed it to them. We give it to them as they need it. If they hit a milestone, guess what? They unlock the next payment. This way, you've got some security on your investment. Basically, we kind of have an insurance policy. Worst case, someone runs away on the first day. Hey, you lose 20% of your investment because we only handed out 20%. But guess what? They signed an NDA. They signed some other documentation so that we get to hold the intellectual property. So if it is a good idea, we could actually rally together and build it ourselves. And the people who invested the first time around, they can actually win. Now with starting blocks, we do a bit of vetting. So we vet the people and we vet the project. We actually make sure that they can deliver the project based on the amount of money they raise. There's no point in being $1 million if it's gonna cost $15 million to build. So, one advantage is we do co-op marketing. What we do is we work with the team to send people to the website. That way, when people go to the crowdfunding website, sure enough, they see their project, but also helps the ecosystem of the other projects too. But one of my favorites is the fact that you don't have to launch your token from day one. A lot of projects launch their token too early and they struggle to raise capital further down the track. With starting blocks, we can delay that. Due to smart contracts, we can make sure everyone gets delivered their tokens when you're ready to launch a token. This way, your investors know that you're building, you're busy building, and there's no rush for them to come out with the token. That way, they're not saying, when moon all the time. Now, we are building out our team, so if you are a hustler, if you're a hipster, or if you're a hacker, we want to hear from you. You could be the local sheriff. Come on down.
Alrighty, so that's starting blocks in a nutshell. Essentially, what we're doing is crowdfunding meets smart contracts. What we want to do is basically lock up people's liquidity in a smart contract, and then make sure that the projects are aware that once they reach their milestone, they've got the ability to get that funding, as long as they can achieve aspects in their timelines. So and they get to basically assign what they want to achieve, and we vet that and unlock that liquidity as those events happen. And yeah, like that's it in a nutshell. So open to Q&A, really. So who's got the first question?
No, yeah, I guess I got a couple of questions, if that's okay. Yep. Firstly, thank you very much. Presentation, it was very cool. And but just in terms of, like, so I understand it is, so who sets the milestones?
Yeah, so it's basically a mixture of the project itself and us. So what we do is we sit down with them and we discuss essentially what those milestones look like. And
yeah, I'm just conscious of time.
Basically, yeah, it's all set up in front, and yeah.
So I'm an investor. I know what the milestones are. You've determined them, and then so who then says, like, physically, who says this milestone has been reached? Like, how does that trick? Like, who controls the smart contract?
Yeah, that would be our team.
Okay, that's cool. And I guess so. Just a couple of things. So they're both kind of linked, but have you thought about the regulatory aspect of this if you're launching effectively a crowdfunding platform?
Yes. Yeah, and that is definitely one aspect that we need to delve deeper into.
Right.
However, other crowdfunding platforms have done it, so there's nothing actually stopping us. Obviously,
if you're running a centralized model, which kind of is, because investors are going to rely on you to tick the box to say milestone, we did the due diligence. So there is an aspect of reliance on you. you'll need a crowdfunding license of some description, I would have thought, jurisdiction specific. And I guess my kind of question is around that is sort of, do you have experience in finance or traditional finance or running money or asset management, anything like that?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
All right,
no,
cool.
no. Just a great idea for the Ideathon.
No, that's cool. That's cool. And so well, last question. And then you're funding this. How will you fund it as a business? Is it through equity? Is it through some tokens or?
Well, yeah, hopefully through a token raise of some sort, or a crowdfunding system.
All right, you've only got a minute, so I'm gonna let someone else ask some questions.
I've got a question. Can you go over very quickly in less than 30 seconds? What are the differences between this and the Launchpad and the IDO? So I know you went over it, but the audio was chopping out.
So one of the biggest issues with Launchpad systems is you have to launch your token straight away. So once you've basically like the whole thing is launching. So if you're not ready to essentially create a token and you haven't raised all your capital, and if you're not ready to actually launch that, unfortunately you're prematurely forced to launch that. Like that's one big downside of some of those Launchpad systems.
And compared to an IDO, can you same thing? Like, what's the big point difference?
Yeah. So I'd say IDOs, you do have to have your token up straight away.
Perfect answer. Way to close it out. That worked excellent. And I know he wasn't done, but that's how this game's played. Unfortunately, everyone's got a fair chance. All right. So next, coming up, we've got a man who also probably needs no introduction to the EOS community, Hernan Arbor. Let's bring him onto the screen. Mr. Hernan, let's bring your deck onto the screen. And like that, I don't think judges, I'll give you a moment if you want to refine your score for Jim's starting blocks. I'll give you a few seconds there. Hernan, are you feeling excited?
Yeah, I am. Glad to be here.
Perfect. All right. We lost Ben, but he is going to work out his technical issues and hopefully be right back. Okay. I think we'll judges thumbs up. Yeah, everybody looks like they're calm. They've collected their answers. I'll let you take it away, Hernan. Good luck.
All right. So thanks for having me. Hello. So the distinguished judges. So before we begin, I want to take you a bit back to memory lane and try to focus on the first time that you actually swiped your credit card. And how did that actually feel from going to all cash transactions to actually swiping your credit card? And if you can focus on that feeling, it kind of feels like going from financial childhood to adulthood, right? So I think it's a great experience to have, but unfortunately, for 2 billion people over the world, this is not an experience they can have. And this is not a reality. Why? Because simply they cannot have a bank account. And that is exactly what we're trying to solve with Anticard. So Anticard is a DeFi credit card that I'm going to get into. But first, I'm going to go about our mission. What we strive for at Anticard is to bring financial inclusion to the world's population and make crypto adoption and DeFi easy, friendly, and cost-efficient for all. And how we, and before we get to the how, some market trends is that the global card markets is over 2075 billion in revenue this year, and it's expected to reach over $4 billion by 2026. Now, as an example, in Mexico only 37% of the population has a bank account, but over almost 70% of the population has internet and mobile phones. So that's a stunning fact. Another important fact is that in emerging markets, MasterCard usage is growing 5 times faster than the US. So that's something to take into consideration. And this is around the opportunity of this space. The purchase transactions worldwide are around 370 billion, and the online payments in emerging markets are around 245. Now, if we would be able to obtain 5% of that market, we'll be servicing over $20 billion of transactions. Now, what's the problem we're trying to solve here with Anticard? Many people around the world, and us included, we can't really use crypto for payments. And if you are in our ecosystem, you know that other than trade, buy and sell our tokens, there's not much left to do with them. And most credit card issuers are custodial, meaning you have to deposit your crypto in order to spend it. And also, you need a bank account to have a credit card. So that's a big problem for most of the population in the world. And our solution is nonetheless an Anticard, where you don't need a bank account. This is the first Antelope and EVM non-custodial credit card that earns you cashback rewards and NFTs. You pay in real time, you pay anywhere, and you save money with every purchase. Now, how do we do this? First and foremost, you just select the tokens you want to spend, you get a real-time quote, you accept the transaction, and you pay instantly. That's the main idea behind the card. Now, how does it work in real time, right? So first of all, you have to do a bit of preparation. You open the Antelope app, you select the tokens you want to use, and then is when you approach the merchant and you present your card or your mobile phone, and then you'll get a notification to open the app, and you'll get a real-time quote of the amount of tokens that you have to spend. Now, once you approve the transactions and you send the tokens, we will process that payment in real time, and then we'll do the settlement in the background. Now, this is on a large scale. If we want to get into the more nitty-gritty details, what we do is once you select the token and approach the merchant, we get the token that you want and the amount and the price that you're trying to pay for. Then we would go through the best liquidity pools. We would, of course, leverage Trust EVM and DeFi bots and the best DeFi tools in our ecosystem to get the most attractive conversion rate. And then once you approve the transactions and you send the tokens, we process the payment and we settle that token swap on the background. That's basically how it works in the inside. But that's not all. An Anticard is a full-fledged bank in your pocket. You can borrow, you can lend, you can earn yield on your tokens, and you can enter and earn NFTs, increase your ranks, and get money back for every purchase. So that's what we're striving for, building a full-fledged bank inside your pocket. And these are some of the wireframes that are most relevant to the payment flow and the extra features. I have kind of a full-fledged mobile app and the drill down, but for the purpose of this presentation, this is what more or less the UI would look like. And this is basically what we are trying to achieve with Anticard. We want to bring a payment, we want to become a payment point that empowers the entire EVM and ecosystem in Antelope. So we would leverage the existing DeFi platforms like DeFi bots for liquidity, our current Nudex and DeFi for exchanges. We would use EVM compatibility through Trust EVM for allowing people to also spend ERC20 tokens. And of course, Pizza and Vigor for borrowing and lending, Atomic with NFTs. So this would be kind of an entry point into the Antelope ecosystem. That's the basic idea of it. Now, regarding our business model, we will charge 0 fees on the transactions, but what we do is when we are establishing the token you want to spend, you incur in a certain slippage, depending on the token you're selecting. So if it's EOS, maybe it's a very liquid and you'd have a very tiny slippage. But if you're trying to pay with, say, bigger tokens, not trying to pick on any project, for $50 or $100 purchase, you will feel that slippage. So we want to guarantee that that slippage covers the full transaction cost and settlement. And then we need to, on top of that slippage, add a bit for protection. And from that, we would actually be getting some profit. Now, we use a freemium membership model where all users get our services for free, but you can opt to a monthly subscription that gets you better rates, exclusive offers, and then we would leverage our user base to promote either apps within the ecosystem or merchants that have accepted our means of payment. So that's basically the business model of this. And regarding the competition, I think you can start to see some cracks in the custodial services that are being offered. And we would try to be not only non-custodial and totally secure, but we want to achieve the largest cashbacks in the ecosystem. So our financial projections are to achieve a $60 million revenue if, of course, everything goes well. And regarding the team, this is me. I would be running the project. Ami would be running the tech. Vero would be running the community, and Yevin would be leading the front end. So that's us. And yeah, thank you very much for taking a look at Anticard.
I have a lot of questions. Do we have time left? All right, we got 30 seconds. So in order for you to settle with the merchant, how are you settling? So you're going to have to settle in fiat. Does that mean that you're the bank essentially? And what kind of regulations or what kind of licenses do you need? And the other thing is, you mentioned there are no fees in this, but you're adding a percentage to the slippage. So essentially you do have fees. That is your fee. Can you confirm that that is indeed the case? So you do have fees.
So the second one is easier. Yes, that added slippage is a form of fees. So that's a simple one. The first one is quite complex. The truth of the matter is I would need to do much further research to understand the legal implications and the legal framework that we could operate this type of credit card.
Perfect. That was a good way to answer it. More research is required, and we have to cut it off. That's so this is one of the, for those watching, right? As a presenter, this is all well known and well timed. Ideally, you shorten your presentation up a smidge to make more time for the judges, who are going to have questions probably, and they're going to score you. Like, they need to understand what you're trying to do, and if they don't get answers to the questions sufficiently, they may not score you as high. This is a dynamic that our presenters have to have in mind. All right, with that, we move it along. Up next, we've got, who do we have next here? Let me scroll my list. We've got, yes, Phoenix, Real Lot. Phoenix is an EOS strong voice in the community. We're bringing them up here. Hello, Phoenix, welcome. There is your slide deck. And just like that, I think, judges, if you need to adjust your scores for Hernan, feel free to do that now. I'll give you a moment. And that will be that. Okay, good. I think that's enough time. Just so you know, Zach, you're not on mute. And Phoenix, if you're good to go.
Yeah. Well, good morning, everybody. First of all, our project is Realot. We're a marketplace for facility access and rentals built on EOS. So I'm going to discuss the problems that we're trying to solve and how Realot really provides the solution. When we talk about access to facilities, we really characterize those as stranded, and what we mean by that is there's many assets, physical places to live or work or thrive in that, in our opinion, just aren't utilized to their full extent in terms of time or space. They're you think about a hotel or an office. In most cases, facilities can be accessed like on a partial basis. So what we want to do is we want to push the aspects of utilizing those beyond maybe a traditional time period. And then we look at underutilized facilities, which are facilities that have the capacity to be utilized in different applications or with additional occupancy. So you can think of like maybe a warehouse that maybe was used in some case, and maybe repurposing that to provide a place to offer events and services. And then we have the exposure problem, which, for investors is a major problem. How do you get exposure to diverse geographic assets around the world. So looking at not only getting, real estate exposure to, say, an area like California where I live, up in the mountains, or, close to the beach, but maybe I want exposure to, a place in Africa. And certainly there are higher risk, but obviously there's also maybe greater return. So while the digital NFT assets have, some uses, solving those problems in real time and providing demonstration of technologies to more relatable uses, I think for a lot of consumers, in terms of how they think about blockchains, there is a lot of advantages to doing that. So, and then looking at a desire for synthetic assets based on real world utility. So moving away from, maybe art NFTs, which are cool, but looking at how we can utilize NFTs in a real world application, and the need for innovation, merging blockchains with IoT. So we're going to talk about the product solution because I know we're running out of time. But essentially how this would work is the owner of a facility would create an access key, which is an NFT. We like to call it a coupon, just so it's a little bit clear to most consumers what this enables them to do. And basically what the coupon enables them to do is get access to that facility or have the ability to transfer those assets. So you're allowing some flexibility on the programmability of access to that location, right? Not just, hey, I can actually enter into a door and maybe work there like a WeWork, but I can also transfer that to my friend. And I can do that based on a set time domain of space. So think like I have access to an office for a day. I can partition that and transfer that asset for an hour to another peer within this network. And that would leverage the EOS permission systems, right? Which would allow the real owner of these facilities to basically filter who may access the real estate. So the account creates these programmable permissions, transferring access to those facilities. This would mint a coupon. Again, we like to call it a coupon for listing the permissive system contract, selecting the price discovery model of choice, and then enabling the account purchase rights to access facilities for a selected period. So here's some of the types of durations that we would be looking to demonstrate with this technology. We can think of like a yearly rental duration or monthly rental duration, going all the way down to something like a time of use, which is something that, has been used for many years in like the electrical space, but we don't see it as much in the rental space when you're talking about like, I want to rent, between noon and 3. That period of time might be in higher demand versus renting a facility maybe late at night, right? But maybe you have a club or maybe you have some other event that goes on at night that you could repurpose that facility for. And then the optionality with a coupon to transfer based on that duration. So going from long to short. So I have access to a facility for a year. I'm going to go short on that, split that up and partition it to a day, right? So I'm buying the rights in the form of a coupon for a year. And that enables me to purpose that for a variety of cases over that year's time, based on, again, the programmability the original owner set forth in terms of allowing me to transfer the assets. And then the optionality with the coupon and transfer based on the application. So the risk yield opportunities, you can arbitrage between long and short. We have to preserve the ability to consume the asset for the duration purchased. Again, we can interact with real world assets, stranded assets in cases to generate yield. And we have the ability to, create basically a metric that tracks the performance of different locations, right? Their facilities and how they perform. So it actually is not only enabling people who utilize these real estate assets to enjoy them, but we might want to see what the general trends are in maybe undiscovered regions around the world and what the demand is for those to help us perform better education with how we invest our money, right? To maybe develop one of our own in that area. So our business model, we're looking at a fee for listing of a platform, probably like a flat nominal fee. We don't have like a token of our own that this is based on. This is more just leveraging EOS permission systems and performance. And there's premium services that I meant to put a question mark there that we wanted to further discover or further innovate on. But the whole idea is we have multiple assets. You look at what's out there today in terms of the market. You don't really have a product that offers consumers like a time of use access to a facility, whether it's office, lodging, event spaces. So this is really more trying to open up that market for entrepreneurs and for people who want diverse assets, diverse exposure to assets around the world, who are looking to even try maybe to explore different places. So with that, thank you very much, and look forward to the questions.
So is this like really a way for kind of asset owners to be able to monetize and get certainty on cash flows?
That's yeah.
So I take out it's like taking out a 5-year lease and then having the right to kind of sub-assign, sublet, whatever, through all these different durations.
Yeah, it basically enables an asset owner to do that. It enables someone else on the other side who may not have, say, the capital to purchase say $1 million, or in this case, I think it would be $3 million now along the beach here in SoCal, right? To maybe get a year's exposure of that and repurpose it as they see fit, as deemed by the owners. But it's a play that.
Given any thought to the I presume you have. You seem quite knowledgeable in all of this, but to the legal aspects of, asset owners might have different sensitivities around, once they kind of sell the rights, do they still have control over the kind of subtenants or any recourse to the subtenants? How does all of that work?
We sort of envision it working very similar to Airbnb on a longer duration. So there's like house rules, right? There's certain rules that are contained within this technology platform.
What happens if they're not adhered to? Like, let's say, I take out, 5 years, I sell into 1 year. 1 year guy sells into like a few days. Some students turn up, they crash, whatever. How is the,
who's held responsible?
Yeah, that's a great question. So one of the things that we actually identified in our strategy is adding collateral as part of the filter. So anybody we sublet to would have to have the same or better, perhaps, standards for the duration that they're renting for.
So like a credit adjusted deposit kind of thing.
It's a filtered, I should say, and I should clarify that it's filtered permissions. So not everybody just has access to all the properties just because it's listed on the platform.
Yeah.
And just like that, I am sorry, Phoenix. Gave you some extra time. Good questions, great back and forth. And let's bring in so that is the end of the DeFi section. So we've now seen 3 projects. They will be ranked later on by the judges, first through third. And just so people are remembering, first is $6,000 in EOS, second is $4,000 in EOS, and third is $2,000. So there's a good spread there between first and third. And next, so we'll go into the social good category, and we've got Jun. Let's bring him on screen. Jun Dam. Hello, Jun. Welcome. I'll give the judges a chance to just have a peek at their scores now that they've seen all 3 DeFi. They're playing around with the different categories. And just so people know, on the inside here, they're being scored on 1 to 5, and there'll be an average based on each of the judges' score. And that's how that works. So, Jen, I'll add your deck. I believe that is yours. Yes, EOS Community Key Recovery. This is the beginning of social good. And just like that, Jen, you can take it away.
Great. Can you guys hear me first?
Of course.
Okay, great. So I'm going to talk about the EOS Community Key Recovery System. Crypto won't go mainstream unless key management is entirely solved. Grandma won't use hardware wallets or 24-word seed phrases. There's a story of mega YouTuber Mr. Beast who put his Bitcoin private key on a Post-it note on his laptop. A thief stole his laptop, but fortunately left his Bitcoin alone. So the biggest problem isn't theft or hacks, it's just people forgetting their keys. According to the Wall Street Journal, 20% of Bitcoins have been lost, and another analyst estimates 1,500 Bitcoins are lost a day, projecting Bitcoin to only have 14 of 21 million Bitcoins in circulation in the future. That's a loss of over 30%. Hardware wallets require paper backups and aren't convenient. Password managers are more convenient, but again, one master password has access to everything, and a backup doubles the risk of theft. Multi-sig and social recovery is Vitalik Buterin's preferred solution. And having a couple friends or institutions co-own a key is a very good solution, but how much do you really trust your friends and family to keep their keys secure and not collude? The more people you add, the less trusted it becomes. So what are the implications? Wait up, am I going too far here? Oh, sorry about that. I was missing this. So what are the implications? 67% of crypto users still rely on centralized exchanges like FTX. The growth rate and traction for most Web3 and DeFi projects will be limited. Banks and current financial institutions will maintain advantage over people's money and finances by providing comfort and peace of mind. Most regular people will be less likely to put a substantial percentage of their net worth in crypto, so ultimately banks win. So what's the solution? The solution is going passwordless with WebAuthn and having EOS community key recovery system. Having a smartphone device as a key drastically improves the usability of crypto. WebAuthn is readily available with EOS and Antelope software, so implementing that is nothing new. So there's no need to discuss this in the presentation. But 8.7 million smartphones were lost in 2021, so that's around 3% of phones lost each year. Hence, a recovery solution is needed when someone loses their phone or a computer. And that's where the EOS community key recovery system comes in. So how does it work? Here's a look at a new user, Charlie. He enters a new account name and approves his WebAuthn with biometrics. Then he adds a driver's license number as the photo ID and inputs his friend Bob's EOS account as a recovery partner who will assist him in the recovery process. And that's it. From the user perspective, it's incredibly simple. So let's discuss what happens during the recovery. Charlie loses his phone at the coffee shop and reaches out to the EOS recovery team by email. The team gets in a Zoom call with Bob and Charlie. The team member requests Charlie's recovery partner to decrypt the message using his key on ID data that was previously put on the blockchain. That message is then unhashed and reveals the driver's license number. The recovery team compares Charlie on the video to the driver's license photo. And Bob also confirms Charlie is Charlie. Then the EOS recovery team member approves the key reset using a DAO referendum vote. And after 60 days, there you go, Charlie has his new key. A few things about tech implementation. A DAO is given authority to reset keys. The user identification data is hashed and encrypted with a recovery partner's pub key using ECDH and added to the blockchain. ECDH stands for Elliptic Curve Diffie-Hellman Exchange and is a specific cryptographic technique. We need to solidify the link between the user account and the photo ID number. We can actually repurpose an existing smart contract that our developer, Artem Malega, on our team has already built for a separate app. In terms of infrastructure, the DAO can be any organization such as the EOS network or any DAO within the EOS network. A DeFi DAO can add withdrawal limits for extra protection. The EOS network community recovery DAO can also handle handle resets with funding from the ENF that may also be able to cover insurance and bonding as well. As far as business model, institutional custodial services charge an average of 0.38% annually for crypto custody. The estimate for our service with 100,000 users and 100 million in management using multiple Pareto iteration assumptions gives us this table. The cost is about 80,000 per year compared to the average custodial cost of 380,000 per year. So you have at least an 80% profit margin as a business. But most likely, since this is such a fundamental part of the user experience, the EOS Recovery DAO can provide the service at cost as a public good. I'm part of the Bigcash Bank team that's building an EOS wallet on-ramp and DeFi platform, as well as Dboard, a DAO decision-making and community management tool. And in conclusion, the combination of WebAuthn, And the EOS community key recovery system is the ultimate private key management solution. And the unique idea behind this whole community key recovery system is to be laser focused on the main attack vector for recovery. By number one, using the blockchain to link the photo ID info with the user account. And number two, using the assistance of a social recovery partner to validate that identity. And that's it. So thank you so much. I really appreciate the organizers for creating this great event and the judges for selecting us as a finalist. And I'm happy to take any questions.
I've got a question. Go for it, Nathan.
What happens in the case where your recovery partner is dead, gone, or hacked?
Yes, so we encourage, that's a great question. So we encourage more than one recovery partner. So you have a backup and an extra backup. So let's say 3. The other part of it is to have the DAO also have that information. The reason why we use ECDH and have the recovery partner encrypt the data is for privacy. We don't want any centralized institution to have all the information about identity. It's only the recovery partner and the person, right, or the user. So you have a backup, and the DAO can have it under a multi-sig. So that also prevents privacy. The other thing is driver's license is not a real kind of a high valued, like it's just a number. So people can, they may not feel that that's incredibly valuable. You can actually just put a picture. You could have a photo image, and that would be even less kind of, people will be less concerned about privacy for that. So, but that's a great question. And I think it's just a matter of having multiple recovery partners and having the DAO as also as a backup, because, a lot of people don't even have a recovery partner. So, for low level amounts, you could just have the DAO just do the resets and do the recovery. So.
Would there be limitations to the user accounts on Antelope? For example, would this social recovery take kind of over the owner key, and then the user would only kind of be able to use active?
That's probably the best design, to have the DAO have the owner key, because what happens is if you get hacked, then the hacker can actually reset it with the owner's key, and you're not really doing much. So that's a great question. And so it's the DAO should own the owner key, and the active key should be on a multi-sig essentially. Or however you want to design it. So yeah, so the DAO does have to have
DAO. Who is the DAO? Like, what comprises the DAO here?
So the EOS network would be ideal. That's why I feel it's essentially but you can also have a DAO within the network be the recovery partner. So anything that has some substantial ability to maybe even provide insurance or bonding is actually a good fit. But EOS network is actually a great fit for that. So.
Where's the, for example, driver's license data stored, the image itself or the data itself stored throughout this period of time?
So it's hashed, so one level of privacy, and then encrypted by the recovery partner's user key, or I could use the public key of the DAO. So that's how ECDH works. You use someone else's public key.
But where is it stored?
Where's it stored?
So it's hashed and encrypted on the blockchain.
As RAM?
You don't need it. You just need a hash. So you don't need to you can Yeah, but
you're hashing to a location. Where's the image stored?
So driver's license number first. So that's just hashed, encrypted, and just stored on the blockchain. So it's hashed and encrypted essentially as on the blockchain.
But you're going to compare images. You said you got the video, the zoom.
So when you decrypt it and unhash it, then you have this driver's license number linked to a photo ID, and you say, oh hey, this is the person, and that's it. So you just want to make that link, a immutable link. You need it on the blockchain to get that immutable link.
Yeah, I let him go a little long because I just felt like that was an important piece to work out. I don't know if we really got the answer we wanted necessarily there. I could sense where we were going, Eve. So anyway, that's the game we're playing. That was the first in social good. We've got our next social good coming up. It will be Douglas Bootner, and his project is Atlas. Judges, feel free to mark up your cards with the previous presenter. I'll bring Douglas onto the screen. Welcome, Douglas. And we've got your deck. I'll give a moment for the judges to compile. Douglas, you're good to go. Do you want to test your mic?
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me?
You are good, sir. All right.
Okay, and thank you, Chris, and thank you everyone for having me. My name is Douglas. I'm here to talk about Atlas Li-Fi. So here we have a picture of the Bolivian jungle in 1984. And here's a picture of the same part of the jungle in 2020. As you can see, almost all of the natural habitat has been completely destroyed. So that begs the question, humans, are we a problem? But beyond moist air currents, and what that means is as air travels across a jungle, it is able to move. But whenever it hits a dry patch, it tends to do different things. It moves around the wind and it changes where precipitation takes place. And this was believed to be the cause of the 2014 and 2021 Sao Paulo droughts. And beyond species extinction, which each time a species goes away, it's not only sad because we're never going to be able to have an in real life experience with that species, but also it causes complex effects on already complex ecosystems. Beyond all of that, we have forgotten who we are as an integral part of this ecosystem. And we're here to remind you of that. Not only are we a part of the ecosystem, we are a key part. We are the gardeners, and our function here is absolutely valuable for Earth to have a functional ecosystem all over the planet. So what is the problem that we're addressing? Well, the problem is that people do want to protect the ecosystem, but they have a little bit of difficulty doing so. And things like carbon capture extract away our love, our hands, our actual effort, our eyes that can see, our ears that can hear, all of these beautiful things happening within nature. And donations can be inefficient, and they often just go to change policy, like the Rainforest Action Network. Most of their money goes to changing policy, but these policies can change back depending on the next administration. So what about Avery, Bailey, and Chia, who want to protect trees, want to learn about orchids and watch the tree frogs lay their eggs and grow up into a new life? Well, for these ladies and anyone else who wants to get more involved but might not be able to jump out into the jungle right away, we have Atlas Li-Fi NFTs, where you can steward from 1 meter squared to 1 hectare of natural habitat. And how this works is we create a legally binding agreement with a titled landholder, which can restrict or allow certain activities on that land. And it also gives you certain rights. And some of those rights include the ability to audit whether or not that landholder is doing what they say they're doing with that land. And you can also go and visit your land in real life. And this is very real, actual boundaried land, just to be clear, on planet Earth. So what are some of the trends that we're aware of that makes us believe that the time is now for Atlas? Well, eco-aware businesses and consumers are rising in percentage compared to the overall market. And ecotourism after COVID is rebounding back and will likely hit an all-time high. We also have antelope chains, particularly Wax, which has the most per unit NFT sales, the most per unit transactions of NFTs, as well as the most daily transactions of any blockchain. So with this idea, it might seem like we have a lot of competition, and we do, because everybody wants to do similar things. And unfortunately today, most of our competition has to do with a carbon credit economy. And unfortunately, a lot of this leads to unnatural carbon sequestration. Things like pumping liquid CO2 into the bedrock where there was a porous rock and then it becomes hardened really shows our fundamental misunderstanding about the value of our ecosystem, where we might not even be aware of the microorganism systems living within there, the filtration that this porous rock may give to the earth, and we just throw our garbage down the chute like we do in so many other cases. Government programs, they help, maybe, but do people really obey them? Not in all cases. Donations, yeah, it might feel good, but unless you have a lot of money and you can sort of choose where it goes and follow through with it, it's likely not going to feel that good. So on the NFT side, we have the Alien Worlds, which is one of the biggest games across all blockchains. At the beginning of the month, it was worth a market cap of over $60 million, with a total diluted market cap around 220 million. Upland, it has it's on the EOS ecosystem, and it's similar to us because it's land-based. They had a $70 million market cap at the beginning of the month. And Alien Worlds is very similar to our actual tokenomics. So what are these tokenomics? Well, first of all, over time, the Atlas ecosystem grows. Rare plants and animal NFTs are stakeable as a basis for LifeFi. So how does this work? You get some land NFTs and then you stake them. And then when you stake them, it's like mining on Alien Worlds, and you can get back plant, animal, and fungi NFTs. Then you can stake these NFTs and get Atlas token back, which is similar to a Wax DAO tool if you're familiar with that. And then with this Atlas token that you receive back, you can buy land NFTs, and these land NFTs are also saleable for the main token Wax, or if we did choose to deploy on EOS mainnet for EOS or Telos, etc., etc. So how are we going to make money on all this? Well, we're going to have initial land sales where we basically talk to an individual person who's interested, and we're going to start selling their land, a representation of that land, for $10 per meter square. Now, every year this is going to go up by $1. So next year it's going to be $11 per meter square, encouraging you to get in early. And we split that 50-50 between Atlas and the in real life titled landowner. And we also split our 4% collection fee. But in order to collect that back end as a landowner, you have to be voted on by a DAO of the people who own your land NFTs. So the people who own the land are sort of responsible for deciding whether or not you're actually protecting your land, or you just were like, hey, I want to have a land sale and make a bunch of money. Now, in order to make all this happen, we obviously have to tell a lot of people and get a lot of people interested. And our goal here is 10,000 daily active users. And we believe this is very reachable because Alien Worlds today, in the last 24 hours, had 290,000 unique wallets interacting. So we're only going for about 3% of that. And it's also why we've chosen to target Alien Worlds NFT holders. We want to talk to Alien Worlds team, get them involved, and then reach out to the community of Alien Worlds through Discord, Twitter, and Twitter Spaces, and Substack. So how are we going to get them to come on board? Well, we're going to give you free animal NFTs, not land, but the animal NFTs. So if you hold specific NFTs for Alien Worlds, we make one of these animal, fungi, or plant NFTs claimable. And the goal here is to get 10,000 of these NFT holders, which then are so familiar with this basic ecosystem from playing Alien Worlds that they turn into daily active users, tell their friends, and that gets us there. So now we're back to the jungle with some appendix. The tech, Antelope, EOSIO tech stack. We're aiming for
How about we stop here and take some questions because you've got like 30 seconds left.
Okay.
Okay, so for something like this where land is a scarce resource and it's physical land, how do you prevent people from strong-arming the landowners in these locations?
I'd actually like to continue. So you can't stop them, first of all. We have legal contracts. So if that contract is signed, there's legal repercussions. You can create any legal agreement between two people, but that doesn't guarantee it's going to be upheld. Our DAO system allows the owners to be accountable, the owners of the land NFTs to be accountable for basically auditing whether or not a person is fulfilling their end of the agreement.
What's the purpose of staking? I don't really understand. Like, I've got an NFT and I stake, but what's that doing for the system? Like, what's that doing for the land? I mean, I know I get to earn some other tokens, but what's the...
It provides an economic incentive to allow a circular economy. It's not doing anything particularly for the land. But what it does is you are the landholder of the NFT. You get that reward. It allows you to get the Atlas token to then buy more land if you want to.
But where's the money? Okay.
And just like that, So I think another example of maybe running a little long on the presentation side and not enough.
Yeah, I would say these guys.
Yeah,
I would say everyone should target 7 minutes and leave 2 minutes for questions or something. Like for, yeah.
One of the scoring categories is presentation, and I keep lowering scores as people get to their runtime without taking questions. Personally.
Yep. And none of this is new. So in the original, for everyone who made it this far read the instructions, and we did encourage 5 to 7 minutes pitch for this exact reason, what you're bringing up, Darren and Zach. So to those who are still coming and have a chance, keep that in mind. Try to pep up the drink some coffee.
Let's make it really important. Our questions really, really impact our scores.
I echo that.
Okay. All right. And the judges have the final word. They are the arbiters of truth in terms of the ranking here. Next up, we have got Optimizing for Tolerance from Lars Communispat. I don't know if I got that right, but here you are, Lars. Lars had a really, I should say, we got to, I don't know where we have to share that video, but basically Lars, he shared it on Twitter where he was recording one of these, and of his many candles, one of them caught something on fire next to
Yeah.
him. That was a lovely.
So far, he's getting a 5 on presentation. That's the sweetest set I've seen so far.
Can you guys hear me? Hello?
Yep.
Okay, good. Just making sure. Yeah, thank you for having me and for hosting, especially the Ideathon part of this, because, man, I got a lot of ideas, and there's just like not a lot of things out there in the world where you get to just take an idea and kind of make a presentation without having to finally like build the platform, which I don't have the access. I don't have the ability to do that. So this is more or less a manifestation of something I was inspired by when I first discovered Steemit back in the day. And I've had friends of mine that have been kind of talking about kind of as EOS is moving into this like kind of new era, like kind of what is the identity of it all about. And I just keep thinking about like community probably is like the thing I most care about. Like there was a lot of things promised with community, and a social network is something that like, well, I mean, it's what brought me to blockchain. Steemit was this amazing experience I had where I realized that like a tokenized economy could really sort of direct people's better, how's the word, the best way to put it is like their better natures. And I'll give a quick anecdote about the thing that kind of captured my imagination the most is like, I have a friend of mine, when I first discovered Steemit, it was the early days where, you know, you could do a post and get like $4,000 for like a post reward. And I was just telling all my friends, like, you got to do this, you got to do this. And I brought a bunch of my friends to the platform. Not many of them stuck around, but one that did is a tarot reader here in Minneapolis. And I noticed right away, I've never really thought of my friend Brian as like a magnanimous sort of guy, but he was quickly interested in making other people money. He was trying to earn steam to stake to make other people money with like his curation rewards, which I thought was like a really, really huge thing. I've never really thought of him as like a generous guy, but it went from wanting to make money to wanting to make other people money very quickly. And that sort of is what captured my imagination. And then I became friends with like one of the lead engineers at Steemit. And I guess that kind of proximity gave me a little bit more thought about like, well, how could we use kind of like those sort of incentives to like kind of just curb people's, you know, worst nature. And really I started thinking about incentives. And that's kind of how this project came to mind. This was years ago, probably 2018. I sort of had this idea for a website that would take people, and this is the optimization for tolerance. And that's just a working title. I mean, this would probably need some more marketing and things like that, like probably a catchy name, you know, things like that. But the idea is to take two users that know nothing about one another and smash them together in this like chat portal, and all their identifying information is abstracted away. So you're basically left with like a default photo and like a unique hash instead of even a username, just a weird number. And you're sort of incentivized to just start talking to one another. And there's this curve you can see right here. I'm not sure if you can see my mouse or not, but generally there's a curve here on the bottom and they're correlated. So time versus a payout. And the incentivization through an EOS payout is in place to keep you interacting with the person. The catch is there's a kill switch here for both both participants, and you can end the conversation anytime you like. If there's something you just not into, or something about the person you don't enjoy, you can actually end the conversation. But if you don't, there is a payout that's exponential, and it goes by like day, week, month, year. And you know, I just imagine this thing where you talk and you just learn about the person without any of the existing confirmation biases we've already kind of had crammed into our head through, you know, 20 years of social media and news and like mainstream media. You know, probably most of us don't consume mainstream media, but a lot of people do, and this is intended for like a broader audience. So
can I just jump in quickly with a question?
Yeah, sure.
Because it might be relevant. How do you identify real people as opposed to bots to claim the payout?
Yeah, so that's to be determined. I'm not like, I'm coming completely from the Ideathon side of this, and I fully admit that I don't know enough about the technical aspects of how to stop botting and things like that. I wouldn't have an answer for that. I only have a single card here for this pitch, so I'll finish up a quick summary of this idea, and then we'll just talk about it. But the main bullet points are anonymous pairing, incentivized engagements. There is a kill switch for both participants to end the discussion, exponential payouts, optimizing for tolerance, unlearning personal and cultural confirmation biases. The underlying philosophies leverages a token economy to financially incentivize willing participation and engagement between users without initially knowing their identity. And that goes into all kinds of like, you know, identity politics, you know, genders, like sexual preferences. I actually even was talking to a friend years ago about this, and she actually brought up one of the greatest parts would even be like criminal records, because that's something that tends to get really stigmatized. But of course there's like low level, like, you know, weed possession tolerances, but as far as it goes, you may still have a felony. So things like that would be really good, because you might start to unlearn some of those existing sort of you know, like biases of what a person with a felony is. The goal of this project is to optimize for tolerance and community participation by incentivizing meaningful conversations with anonymous user pairings. That's about it. That's the idea. So yeah, I guess open to questions. There's, you know, we'll spend the last 4 minutes here just like crunching on it.
Where does the incentive come from? Is it its own token, or you?
No, I was thinking EOS.
So what's the so if for that to happen, this would need to be very much a public good. How do you position this as a public good? Like, what is the value being created for the network, if that's what you plan to incentivize with?
Yeah, I mean, my thought was just growing a network, bringing people. My kind of worldview of any blockchain is just bringing people that are not already in the network. So I just look at it as future stakeholders, bringing stakeholders to a network where they are able to, like, you know, kind of figure this out and then participate in EOS by, you know, introducing them to what it's all about, how trading works, you know, eventually leading into NFTs and just expanding the ecosystem.
I think you've got a good point underlying all of this, that identity does have a value. So I think that's quite interesting.
Yeah, I would say value for a project like this, and maybe this is why this fits better with an Ideathon thing than like an actual hackathon thing, is because like some of the value is abstracted. It's not entirely going to be quantified in like dollars or things like that. It's bringing just people that don't already participate on the EOS network to the EOS network. And I mean, I would say one last thing about social networks in general is just like, and again, this is only my worldview, but this is actually how I've met most of the people that I consider peers and things like that. I think a few months ago we had like a fireside chat, and we were talking, and I brought something up about a social network, and actually this one was in the back of my mind. But even Aaron Cox was like talking about how, like, you know, that was one day the goal is to get some kind of social network back on EOS. You know, he said it's quite a ways off. I think
what your background is as well, just to get a sense.
Yeah, I'm a weird guy because I'm like an artist, but I'm a huge nerd. Like, I'm into hacking and like not stuff like that, but like hacking like hardware, like PSPs and shit like that. So I kind of like the nerdy, like SSHing into like things like that. But I also most of my worldview is art, and I'm a photographer. So that's how Steemit brought me into all this, is because it was the only place in blockchain that allowed for like artists and creatives at the time, which was 2016, to like kind of share something and then still participate in like a token ecosystem.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much.
That's all I have. Thanks, guys, very much. I don't know if you have any other questions in this last minute, but
Is that set real?
this set's real, yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, early pandemic, I was like, I need to invest because I knew I was going to be taking a lot of calls. So I painted this room. It used to just be a junk room, but yeah, it turned out pretty good, and it was a good investment.
Understatement of the year.
Thanks. All right, that's it. Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you coming.
And just like that, that was the first one to end early.
Yeah, Chris wasn't ready.
I've too many buttons to click. I got to get the timer. Hey, where's myself? All right, good job. So that ended the social good. Yes, that ended the social good category. So we had EOS community key recovery, Atlas, and optimizing for tolerance. This is a marathon. People haven't realized this is long. Everyone's patience is, this is going to be an event and lots to record and watch later.
Which is why it's important to be conscious of time so that we can actually get through these. So thank you very much for keeping us on time, Chris.
No.
So for those who feel like they were cut off early, there's a reason for this. We've got 15 to go through one by one.
And I just want to remind everyone that there's 40 people watching and only 23 likes on the video. So smash that like button.
Smash the like. Yes. Okay. Next up, Yer. Welcome.
Oh, hey. I
Yer's
just smashed the like button, as you mentioned.
Good man. Okay, Yer, I'll let you take it away.
Okay. So first of all, I'm really excited to be here today and happy to meet all of you. So I'm going to share with you my concept for Angel DAO that I crafted in the past few weeks. And firstly, I think with the current event in the crypto space, we can see a live example of the power of the community or organization. So which helps in overcoming occasions like this and by sharing insightful tips with everyone. Okay. So the motto I came up with the Angel DAO is don't trust your gut, trust the cult. I guess you will understand better this motto by the end of the pitch. So Angel DAO is a community-driven cryptocurrency investment fund that will be powered using a DAO, so decentralized autonomous organization. The DAO will be governed by the holders of the ERC20 Angel utility token, and that is also the name of the project. So the Angel DAO has been a mini angel investor, and this token will function as a voting measure, also as an investment vehicle. So if we talk about the problem that this DAO will solve, we probably talk about the advantages that investing as a part of a fund of investing as a big community can be. So first of all, it's reducing the assets supply, and as a result, the selling pressure in big investments can sometimes can be taken under consideration. Also, high net worth funds receive private deals and at better rates usually, and a lot of minds will inevitably use the power of the wisdom of the crowd to make better investing decisions over time. So it can be by warning about particular exploits or weaknesses and a potential increase in assets demand and or is utility development. It can be using an analysis of on-chain activities, technical analysis, and more. Okay. So the users that are part of the DAO will be able to share their thesis regarding an investment opportunity with the other members of the DAO. Each proposal has to include information about on-chain data, technical development, technical analysis, and market perspective in order to persuade the other holders that this investment might be a profitable one. So if the proposal is passed, the DAO will use the funds in its reserves to purchase the accepted amount of tokens of this investment, and will hold onto them until another proposal is passed, which has been agreed on selling this particular location and accepting the profit or loss in each case. So a successful investment will increase the liquidity in the overall pool of the DAO, and as a result, the value of each token share. In the case that investment is not successful, this will decrease the overall pool, as it marks a loss for the DAO, and each token share value will shrink. So this is a small diagram how this proposal will look like when buying and selling the particular investments. I hope you can see it using this share. Okay. So multiple proposals can be submitted and approved in the same time until all the available reserves in the DAO pool are used up in the investment. And this is another diagram to have a look how this proposal concept is actually working, as I just explained. So let's move more about the tokenomics of the Angel token and the token use case. So each token will have a double-sided utility. So the first one is voting. Each token will give its holder one voting point in any proposal that is published by the DAO participant. And the second one is a pool share. So each token is a claim for percentage of the total DAO pool, which can be redeemed at any time. So each token will increase in value if the investment using the funds in the DAO were successful, as each token represents more funds, although the same percentage. And in case the opposite scenario happens, so each token will decrease in value, with the same methodology. So the initial and max supply is, in my case, is 100 million tokens, which represent 100% of the pool. So in this example, I used the 1 cent mark for each token. It can be sold in a public sale or using an airdrop to create as fair launch as possible. So there is no founding team, no early investor, and no vesting schedule. So in this DAO, we need to have some predefined rules in order to keep it sustainable in the long run. So the first one is about the proposal publication. It will require a holding of at least 500K tokens, so 0.5% of the pool, and will be limited to one proposal a week, so we can avoid spam. The second one is anonymous voting. So each voting will be revealed only after the actual transaction has been finalized on the blockchain. So we avoid the others front running this transaction.
So this is a vote for a vote for an investment.
Yeah, for each proposal about a particular investment that one member in the DAO can share with the others. So the third one is the supermajority. We will require a 67% or more of the vote in favor of this particular proposal. And also the last one is the low price impact. So we will require investing in pair with high liquidity. So at least, for example, 20x. So another crucial point I would like to mention is the one crucial point, I believe, when it comes to the DAO is how to turn the token holders into a service providers and to incentivize them to work in favor of the DAO and participate in votes, which will help to create better investment decisions. So we will collect 0.9% of all successful trades, which will be collected as a fee and will be distributed to all the active voters to ensure active participation in the DAO. In addition, another 0.1% will be collected and sent out to the proposal creator. And in addition for this, this is how we will preserve our treasury. We will collect another 0.5%, which will be used in our treasury to further development and as an insurance. And
where does the money come from?
I will give you some time to some question.
Where does the money come from for the investments? Like the tokens are a voting token, but where's the capital coming from?
So the value for the token will be we'll sell it using a public sale, for example, in the start.
No. So there's an investment opportunity. The DAO or whoever the token holders vote whether or not they want to make the investment. But where does the money to make the investment come from?
It's from the DAO reserves. So the DAO will have its reserve. Each token represents a certain percentage of this pool. And then they can vote to, for example, take 10% of the DAO reserves and purchase another token.
DAO reserves are the token of the same token.
Yeah, it's always the angel token.
And how do you determine is a profit or not? Like,
how do you close the trade? You've explained the proposal for making an investment. How do you close the investment and take profit?
Yeah, that's right. So there is a need for another proposal to be passed in order to sell the position. So both for buying and both for selling the same position. You need to have an agreement of all the participants or the majority.
Thank you.
All right. That seemed like a good place to end it. Thank you, Yair. So that was the first in Gov3. We now have our second Gov3 presentation, which is going to be Bob. I'm bringing Bob up now. And oh no, he moved. There he is.
Hey there.
Bob is doing Robert's rules. Bob, I think you're good to go. Take it away.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Cool. My name is Bob Hamill. Today I'm going to be presenting my idea, Robert's Rules on Chain, which is a tool to make online meetings more efficient. So, as we all know, the way groups organize meetings has dramatically shifted over the last few years. Many organizations were forced to migrate online due to COVID restrictions, but now they're choosing to stay online going forward. And according to the US Census Bureau, 27 million people work primarily from home, which is 17% of the workforce. So that's huge. Both employees and employers have gotten used to the remote work setup, so it's definitely here to stay and become a fixture for many organizations. And although there's a lot of perks to remote work, the truth is that for many people, the experience can look like this. Never-ending Zoom call, that's just too much to handle, too many participants, bad connections, bad microphones, talking over each other. We've all experienced it. But somehow we choose to suffer through them, with 83% of employees spending 1/3 of their work week in online meetings. So this is a major problem for organizations, and it frustrates participants, especially when you're trying to have real conversations and have a group consensus around topics. In those cases, it's important for everybody's voice to be heard, which can be hard in a format like a jumbo Zoom call. So there's a clear need to add order and efficiency to online meetings so that they're helpful to organizations, not hurting them. And it turns out people have been having unproductive meetings forever. And in 1876, Robert's Rules of Order were first introduced. These are a set of rules and guidelines used to facilitate meetings. They set up a structure for meeting participants to follow that encourages order and streamlines decision-making. These rules are still popular today. Anytime you hear a all in favor or the chair recognizes a speaker during some televised meeting, they're using Robert's Rules of Order. They're popular because they're so efficient in organizing group discussions. So it's time to bring Robert's Rules of Order to organizations that are suffering online. And the way we're going to accomplish this is with Robert's Rules on Chain, a dApp that implements Robert's Rules of Order on the blockchain. So here's an example of how it would work. A meeting organizer will send out a link to all the participants, similar to how you would share a Zoom link. This takes participants to a meeting dashboard on the dApp's website. From this dashboard, users will see a stream of meeting actions in real time and an interface that allows them to take new actions. Actions include calling the meeting to order, initiating a new motion, voting, passing motions, everything defined in the original Robert's Rules of Order. The key here is that all these actions are controlled by an underlying smart contract that the dApp interacts with. The contract controls which actions can be taken by whom and in what order. For example, Only the participant with the chairperson role can recognize speakers or call for a vote. And only participants with the member role can introduce new motions or cast a vote. Meeting structure is enforced by the contract by controlling what actions can be taken at any time. For example, it won't let a new motion be introduced unless a current motion is voted on and resolved. So ultimately, this is a productivity tool. As long as users follow these steps that are clearly laid out in the DApp, their meetings will be streamlined and discussions will allow groups to come to a consensus. So the initial target market for this tool are local government and school board councils. Both these organizations have a need for what this DApp provides. They're groups that consistently meet online and are in need in structure. And they also have a duty to make their meetings public. And because Robert's Rules on Chain stores every meeting action on the blockchain, it automatically makes these meeting minutes public. Any person can go online and see who voted on what, which motions were introduced, what passed. It's all there on the blockchain. And the revenue for this tool would be a monthly recurring revenue model where the target buyer are corporate accounts instead of individuals. I see it kind of like organizations have a Zoom or a Slack subscription that all their employees can use. This would work in the same sense where organizations can subscribe to this DApp and give their employees access to set up meetings and organize it through the dashboard. There could also be some free tiers for the tool to market to smaller organizations. And just a little bit about myself, I'm a developer with some interest in blockchain and have some experience making a few different dApps on multiple chains. So that's the quick overview of it. So I'm open for any questions.
Awesome. Great that you're leaving us almost 5 minutes for questions. First of all, I think this is really innovative. I've never heard of anybody present that particular use case before. So kudos on that. In terms of budgeting, what do you think is required to actually be able to launch this? Because you're going to have to make a user experience that'll be quite nice and easy to use before you can actually start generating revenue. So can you maybe talk about the business plan of getting that product to market?
Yeah, so I mean, hard costs I could think are just like initial development team. So maybe a couple developers, but for the actual like minimum viable product, you need to have like a front-facing website with some good design, because that's really a selling point of what it would be too, right? You want to see this like streamlined meeting kind of flow. So good design would be required there. Budget-wise, I would just assume some cost of developers.
How would you imagine the experience for this?
Sorry,
go for it, Nathan. Go for it, Nathan.
How would you imagine the experience for this? Because you have multiple different parties here. You have the administrative parties, and then you have the effective users of this.
Yeah, so I kind of imagine this like something that works in conjunction with like a Zoom call. Like you'd send out a Zoom link and also send out a link for one of these meetings, and somebody would have like this open in their browser. So they're actually like watching meeting actions and using Zoom for like the voice dialogue. The admin part of it is kind of controlled by like user roles on the contract. Like I mentioned, there could be like a chairperson role who initiates the meeting and is given certain roles that allow them to perform certain admin actions.
I wouldn't spend too much time on the front end side of things. Almost, I'd probably look at integrating it into an existing system. Because if you were, I mean, I'm not an expert, but if I'm using Zoom, I don't want to be using another system as well. Or if I'm using, Slack or something like that, you can probably think about ways of having it as more of a toolkit to plug in to.
Yeah.
And you can follow their UI. Like if you think about it that way around.
Yeah, like Zoom doesn't have whiteboards.
Yeah, agreed.
Missing that are missing from meetings, but. I just want to say excellent presentation, very clear and concise and well done.
Cool, thanks.
Well, because we still have time, then I'll ask other questions. So I like this idea of implementing tools that already exist to not reinvent the wheel. Based on that feedback, can you think of anything that could be leveraged that you know of that is simply missing an extra add-on to basically make that connectivity to the blockchain?
Not offhand. You know, I've kind of trended towards this just because like we have like a local HOA that I participate in, and you know, the first meeting I went to got introduced to these rules, and I was like, wow, this is kind of something. It's making this run a little bit smoother. Everybody knows what step we're on, and that was kind of my pull here, you know. And if that could be done in real life, you know, having it moved online and kind of organizing bigger groups through something like this. But yeah, this was that kind of background prompted this.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a kind of like there's a tendency to try and think of everything with all these things, but actually, every organization or every thing that you might want to integrate with will have their own set of rules and their own identity and their own kind of authorities. So you don't really need to do all that work. You just kind of say, you know, you can set it so like any identity on the platform has certain authorizations or not. You know, their vote counts, it doesn't count, it's legally meaningful, whatever. But yeah, like I think this is a very clever idea.
Thanks.
Good job on this.
All right. Well done. Good and good work, Bob, on making time for the judges. I think they appreciated that. Next up, we have another Gov3. The final Gov3 will be Free DAO with Jerome. Jerome, you are on the screen, and I'm going to let you take it away. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, Chris. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having us. My name is Jerome Kelsey from Free DAO, and we're making DAO tools that are accessible for everyone. DAOs have grown from very humble beginnings. From only 2 years ago, DAOs were quite tiny. But now DAOs involve 2 million people and $10 billion US today. And there's no sign that this growth will stop. DAOs have proven themselves to organize talent and capital in powerful ways. Yet, issuing tokens for voting puts most DAOs at risk with securities law. And this is because tokens used for voting mimic shares in a company. So what if DAOs could vote without issuing tokens and not trigger securities law altogether? Our DAO tools use the native proof of identity solutions available on one of the Antelope blockchains, Proton. No token issuance required. No gas fees, and one of the easiest ways to use a blockchain dApp allows many traditional organizations to set up a DAO to organize their talent and capital in new and powerful ways. Network effects are key for groups and communities to thrive and build value. Free DAO's flexibility, features, and low-friction experience empowers groups of people to cooperate at scale. Antelope and the Internet Computer, combined with the unique features that Proton brings, allows many abilities not covered by some of the biggest DAO tools out there. And furthermore, we enhance our democratic foundation with Eden-inspired fractal democracy plus sortition to allow for strong leaders and accountability systems, and maybe even Robert's rules. Free DAO empowers organizations by leveraging the powerful value-building network effects of an interconnected DAO platform without the typical legal and Web3 complexities. So I'm the founder in charge of the product. Jerome Hartigan is an entrepreneur and business strategist. Tom McCann is our blockchain lead with a background in AI and fintech. Michael Jones is our front-end architect and also entrepreneur. And we have a team of 20, including specialists, volunteers, and advisors. We've built 2 products, both DAOs, and we've launched the FreeOS Economic DAO a week ago, which attracted over 7,000 participants in its early pre-launch phase. We're targeting businesses, students, and other non-Web3 natives that wish to organize their communities and colleagues to create side projects and R&D endeavors. Finally, we expect the 1% rule will attract some of the FreeOS DAO community as creators, and another 9% as contributors into the FreeDAO participants. FreeDAO removes the friction for the vast numbers of Web 2 traditional talent to move into Web 3. To grow Web 3, this talent needs to be onboarded gracefully and seamlessly. We have a 3-tiered pricing structure to start: free, professional, and enterprise. Since the FreeOS token can also be used to pay for subscription, creative contributors to the FreeOS community may organize to use their weekly earnings to pay for the FreeDAO subscription, working together to create further value in the ecosystem. Additionally, the FreeOS protocol has 7% of the weekly mint going automatically to FreeDAO to be used for development and providing grants to DAOs dedicated to grow the ecosystem. Our MVP of FreeDAO is nearly complete, and afterwards we plan to onboard businesses, groups, and undergraduates to form DAOs using our software. Furthermore, the ecosystem grants will be targeted to strong DAOs that build goods and services to bring additional growth and value. Going beyond Web3 natives, we have ambitions of reaching a global audience. We believe that talent is distributed around the world, and Web3 allows us to reach that talent, to shine a spotlight on it, and allow this talent to organize themselves, empowered with resources, and allowed to build value beyond what we might imagine. FreeDAO and FreeOS combined is designed to leverage this. The rest of the slide covers a number of items in our appendix, and for the sake of time, we invite you to dig in deeper at your own leisure in our dev post submission. We really appreciate the opportunity and happy to field any questions.
So you mentioned you just recently deployed on Proton. So what part of this pitch is part of this Ideathon, and which part are you just talking about something you actually already built and deployed?
Yeah, so the FreeOS DAO is deployed on Proton. We're talking about the FreeDAO set of DAO building tools. Those are still in development.
Do these rely heavily on a KYC component?
That's right. Yeah, we leverage Proton's existing KYC.
What would be the plan for KYC on other chains that don't have that component?
Yeah, so we have our front end hosted on the Dfinity Internet Computer, and there's a number of features coming on the Internet Computer to use ECDSA signing, as well as HTTP requests to basically be bridgeless and Oracle-less and connect with other chains. So in that way, you could leverage Proton's KYC in order to deploy onto other chains. But Proton is an Antelope blockchain. So anything that's coming on the, for cross-chain compatibility on the Antelope ecosystem, ideally that could be leveraged with Proton as well.
Yeah. In terms of competition within the Antelope space, do you know of anybody else that is doing something similar? It's a loaded question.
We're not aware of
anybody else.
We're not aware of a KYC one person one vote DAO set of DAO tools.
Got it. So that is really what the differentiator is between something else. So without the KYC, do you know of anything else?
There's EOS DAC was back in the day. Their tools are still out there, I believe.
How does this compare to HyphaDAO?
Oh, sorry, yeah, HyphaDAO. Well, again, I think the KYC is a big component. We are, if you compare to, we also have no gas fees on the Proton blockchain. I mean, obviously ESIO, but there's also, you don't need to stake any tokens for RAM and CPU on Proton as well. So it's a pretty easy
Who funds
onboarding experience.
KYC? So who pays for the KYC? Because KYC isn't cheap, right? So who's...
Yeah, Proton has a number of DEXs and swaps and loan platforms that they need their KYC to be compliant. So they're happy
Proton are funding your KYC, and then you're taking that and you're kind of using it generally for things like this, say on EOS.
The Proton ecosystem encourages that.
No. I've no view on Proton. I don't know much about it, but I'm just checking. That's the business model. It's like
that's right. So their activities on their trading platforms, which require.
But I'm just saying they're paying. They get the users. They pay the KYC because that's in their interest to do so, and then you get that KYC as a kind of like whatever.
It's it's on chain, so we can just leverage it. Anybody can. Any app developer can.
You can't really it's
Perfect.
not simple. But...
And with that, I let him finish his word at least. That's
yeah.
Right of me to not cut him off mid-word. All right.
KYC is such a big subject, so
and you know a lot about it with async.
Too much.
Okay, so with that completed the Gov3 sections. So just to cap up there, we had Angel DAO with Yair, Robert's Rules with Bob, and Free DAO with Jerome. Judges, take a moment to review your scorecards. We are now moving into the GameFi category, starting off with Zombie Game, which who doesn't love zombies nor zombie games? We've got Jigger. Welcome to the stream, Jigger. And I'm going to add your deck and let your mic is working. So take it away.
Yeah, thank you so much. So today I'm going to present Zombie Game. And before I start and tell you about Zombie Game, we are a team of 4, including game developer, full stack developer, graphic designer, and Solidity programmer. We are working in this game development industry more than 6 years, and we have developed different kind of projects on AR, VR, and 2D, 3D games. And now let's focus on the main game. We are going to create a zombie survival Web3 game with multiplayer feature. So game will be simple. We have to survive in a zombie world, and we have to kill zombies as much as possible. And in this zombie world, we can unlock different kind of weapons, and those weapons will be basically upgradables. And this game we can play with also online other players, and we will have voice chat support, so that we can talk with other online players. So basically it will be kind of small metaverse where together we can play the game and we can kill the zombies. And we will definitely we will have what can I say, different missions which we can play alone in this game. So if we talk about blockchain, then we are going to use EOS network for that, and we can create multiple smart contracts for that, for in-game purchase, to buy coins with native crypto, unlock weapons as NFT, get game token ERC20, and those tokens can be also used in game to exchange with coins and other user data call, like to check time, NFT details, and other kind of stuff. So if we talk about game feature, then game will be free to play and play and earn model. So basically it's win-win for developers as well as for game players. And we will have the decentralized finance system to buy in-game coins with crypto, or we can exchange with game tokens. Multiplayer mode to play with other online players. Voice chat support to interact with other online players. Multiple weapons will be there, and those weapons will be basically NFT, which we can set as 1155. And multiple zombie world we can add to, go in different kind of worlds and enjoy the zombie killing stuff. And yeah, definitely we want to launch on all platform, Android, iOS, Windows, and web. So if we talk about game flow, then game flow will be simple. We have to authenticate with MetaMask. From main menu, we can go to CoinSwap. In CoinSwap, we can buy coins with native crypto, or we can exchange with our earned tokens. From main menu, we can get back to weapon swap, where we can unlock weapons with coins, which will be basically NFT, and those weapons will be upgradable. We can upgrade those weapons. Once the game will start, we can play and kill the zombies. And if we are in multiplayer mode, then we can play together and kill the zombies. Once a game gets over, we can get some coins, and those coins can be used in coin swap. and there will be some kind of missions, and we can give some kind of time. If we can complete that time, and then we can get ERC20 token. So now you must think how we can build this. So we can build this game in a Unity game engine. For that, we need a gaming programming environment artist and game tester. For multiplayer mechanism, we can use Photon network, which we have already used. For 3D modeling and texturing, we can use open source Blender software. For UI UX related graphic design, we can use Photoshop or Adobe Illustrator. And yes, definitely for blockchain programming, we need blockchain programmer. We need to for Solidity programming. Now, if we talk about game market size, then just if we talk about mobile, then 27% is for RPG market is covered. So there is large market to get into this game system. Now, next question is why now, and about competition. So as we know, I mean, most of the Web3 games are basically just to earn, and there is less fun when we play the game. There are more focused on earning from the game and that kind of stuff. But we want to make entertaining game, so that will be first our stuff. And if we talk about competition, so in this Web3 space, I mean, there are very few RPG games, so we can enter in early market, so it will give us a advantage of market. If we talk about business model, then we will going to launch on all platform, Android, iOS, Windows. So we will have huge amount of users in this platform, and we will have free to play and play and earn model. Because most of the other Web3 games are we have to purchase first NFT, then we can play the game. So our game will be free to play. I mean, any user can play the game, and if he's playing the game, then he can earn automatically. So yeah, it will be free to play. If we talk about revenue generation, then we can add in-game purchase, add monetization. We can directly promote brand, and we can get money from them. And yeah, definitely token mechanism is there, so we can use it. If we talk about future roadmap, then I would like to create, I mean, different level kind of stuff in the game, and giving more environment, like different kind of themes, like night theme, day theme, and that kind of themes we can give. And yeah, different kind of zombies. Already we have idea in mind to give power to the zombie, like they can attack in different kind of ways. So it will be fun and challenging, and yeah, improving the game economy mechanism. Yeah, Chris, now you can play the video. So basically, we have created a video for this. So yeah, based on our idea, I mean, we already started working on this game, and this is the basic prototype which we already have created. Now, if you have any question, you can definitely ask.
I guess my question would be just, have you built a game before?
No, actually, we have started after this, I mean, Ideathon. We did not develop this game earlier.
No, is any of your team, are they game developers? Forget Web3 for a minute, but do you have experienced game developers working?
Yeah, exactly. We have, I mean, experience in game development industry more than 6 years, but in this Web3 industry, we are working since around like 6 to 7 months. So yeah, still we are figuring out different things regarding economy, especially. But in game development, yeah, we have experience.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is this a multiplayer game, or is this a single player?
Yeah, I mean, current prototype which I shown in video, it is a single player, but we want to add multiplayer, kind of metaverse where we can play together and kill the zombies with voice chat support. Yeah.
Have you given any thought to the sort of financing requirements you're going to need for?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. I mean, we will need a different kind of, I mean, as I mentioned, there are loads of, I mean, this is just prototype, but for a multiplayer mechanism, we will need different kind of servers. We have experience in multiplayer development. So yeah, I have idea like which kind of, and in which stage we will need which kind of person to develop entire game.
Cool.
Yeah.
And what? So this may be a really stupid question. I noticed there was lots of ERC20 references. Like, what's the relationship with EOS?
Yeah. Actually, we want to create that ERC20 token. So I mean, user can directly pay. I mean, they can directly buy coins with native crypto, or they can exchange with those earned tokens. They can give tokens and they can get coins on behalf of that. So that will be one economy system, and we can definitely liquidate in a market pool, and that kind of stuff we can do with those tokens.
Right, but what's the bit that sits on EOS then?
Sorry.
What's on EOS?
Basically on Trust, EOS network, we want to develop this stuff with financing system. Yeah.
So assets are on a different chain. Smart contracts sit on EOS.
I mean, we can definitely create on a multiple chain as well as so. I mean, I agree with you. I mean, it's not like that we can do create on this. We can give multiple blockchain if you want.
I think he meant to say Trust EVM. Throwing it out there. All right. Thank you very much, Jigger. And from that, we will move on to our next GameFi presentation, which is called GameFi Marketing on Antelope from Alfredo with Hoken Tech. Welcome, Alfredo. Take it away.
Hi, guys. Welcome to Hoken Tech. I'm Alfred, the CTO and the main blockchain developer, and with me there is Antonella as a CEO. In Hoken Tech, we connect brands to people through NFTs. How can small, medium company improve marketing and make products known if they have few unique marketing opportunities, few ideas, and low budget? Big companies are developing in Web3, blockchain, and NFT space with incredible results and revenue. Only the Louis Vuitton gamification campaign has generated more than 100,000 downloads and reached all over the world with a higher customer acquisition cost. Strategies and ideas that are unachievable for small, medium companies, because we know that if you want to build a blockchain application, you have to spend more than $30,000. Now, imagine you can cut the cost by 66%. We can offer the same and better solution at a third of the cost with online gamification marketing using our game and also NFT distributor to sell the cards of the game. We know the strength of the NFT distributor because during an event, a winery crossed several blockchain companies and wine companies just to take the NFTs and ask also for a product. And we went to different events and getting always good results. And we sold in every event our NFTs. This are sold also from PayPal. Because the people love to interact with NFT distributor. Now, what the game? Did you know that half of the Italians spend money on video games? They can spend it on your blockchain game and they can play it everywhere because our game works on every blockchain devices like a console, PlayStation 5, Tesla car, computer, Apple Watch, and even smart fridge. People also can play, stake, and earn from these NFTs because they can reward the user from what they can stake. So you can expand your marketing in the world, take advantages of the most searched keywords, everything with a low customer acquisition cost. This is a typical user journey. They search for NFT games, NFTs, and other stuff. They find you that you have or NFT distributor linked to a game or the game itself. They interact with those with some playing and they can win prizes, and also they share their experience between social media. A solution built for every entrepreneur in the world, and even 1% of those is high and can be applied to business owners, creators, startups, and even cities because it's a good marketing tool. A solution, some alternative to advertise your business are the different social media advertisement like Facebook or Instagram, which cost quite a lot and for a small time. Or an expensive game like Louis Vuitton did, it costs millions and it has a counting pricing every year. Instead, with the Hook and Take game, you pay once and you have your game forever. We have the advantages to create a custom blockchain card game with zero-cost server, NFTs that can be inserted in NFT distributor and also give a reward because you can stake in them. We have also a direct Aster assistance, and the NFTs are also eco-friendly using the EOS blockchain. We have already developed and deployed the smart contract on EOS Jungle testnet. Also, the front end is developed. Same, the staking and reward systems is already in testing. Now we are working to implement a better login, because at the moment you can only log in with your private key that is not the best. And we also add some more feature, because for that we are needing more money. How do we make money, you can ask? Simple, directly by creating the DApp game that has a fixed price, and also for the NFT creation. In the total, the game just need 11 NFTs. And the more also a percentage on the second sale NFT sales. For example, we forecasted some worst scenario with just 3 small business game that we develop for them. So in this case, that there is a recurring subscription fee. They cover at least for 1 year. So in that case, it's enough to cover our expenses. These are some go-to-market strategies, because we can use the DApp ranking portal, game conference, sponsor review, and you can already play the game here, or you can schedule a call with us.
Thank you very much. And just what's your background, did you say?
I'm a game developer, a blockchain developer, and also a senior Android developer.
Got it. And how are you expecting to kind of finance this generally?
During events, because with the NFT distributor, we have the outstanding marketing tool that the people come to us and we show and let the people play the game, because on the testnet is also ready.
Got it. Thank you.
I'm looking at the demo. Was this based on Elemental Battles?
Yes, but the code it was refurbished because it's different.
Mm-hmm. It's been a while since I've seen this UI. I recognized it immediately.
In terms of, I guess, overall idea, can you succinct it within 30 seconds? What is the pitch here? What is the idea behind this?
To make this game as an onboarding EOS people, because with the game you must to use an EOS account. So in every test that we made 60 more tests, and 60 people come on the EOS blockchain just to play the test game. So we have 60 people with 60 EOS test account. So it's a good onboarding tool also.
Where do you see this going in the future for future games, future company initiatives?
Yes, the final form would be a standalone game with it's open, and we want to whitelist the NFTs of the games of the people, because if the people already know and have NFTs, but they can use it, we can offer the ability to use their own NFTs, or company to create different NFTs. For example, Halloween NFTs, Christmas NFTs, and rotate those NFTs in the game.
Would you consider yourself a game studio then, or some kind of middleware between gamers and other games?
It's more like a game studio, because we offer the final product, a custom final product based upon your needs.
So you'd be working with other businesses who want to create games.
Exactly, yes.
And you're going to be looking for these companies outside of the Web3 space or outside of EOS or?
Yes, and we opened a little whitelisted that oil company has asked to test this game, because they can put their product, the oil bottle, inside the game.
Perfect. Ended it at a nice little moment there. Thank you, Alfredo. And with Hokentech. Okay, so we did have the third and final GameFi submitter called Dead or Wounded was the game. Unfortunately, they are unable to get it to work with the presentation here. So we're going to skip them. So unfortunately, they don't get as great of a score. Keep that in mind, judges. And we will move on to the next category now, which is Web3. Web3 received by far the most submissions. So for those who are wondering, how come you didn't end up getting scored and getting here today, Web3 had a ton. So there was a lot of really good ones at Web3, which unfortunately we were limited to just 6. The bottom 4th through 6 get a prize, 1,000 each, and then the top 3 are here. So thank you for all that submitted, but please note that's just it was just a popular category. All right, next we have Inigo. I don't think I'm saying your name right, but from Hackalope, and you can correct how to say your name and take it away, good sir.
Hello, thanks, Chris. Yeah, it's Inigo. Pronounced a little bit differently, but it's okay. Well, this is my idea for Ideathon. It's called Hackalope, which is the blockchain-based hackathon platform on EOS network. A little bit of background on hackathons. There has been an increasing popularity of hackathons since the first official one took place in 1999 in Canada. In hackathons, individuals work as a team, they let their creativity flow, they accept healthy feedback, they learn to work under pressure, and they have a growth mindset in order to solve these problems that they solve beyond their own individual scope of work. An example given, in Nigeria, they are betting on hackathons to help their country improve its ranking on the World Economic Forum Index. So this says that there is an area of opportunity in the hackathon sector. What is the problem? Right now, some of these problems I have experienced myself when being involved on some hackathons. Users are vulnerable to lose data such as their progress, projects, and achievements since they rely on the existence of the centralized hackathon platform. The hackathon creator's application process can be subject to taking a long period of time. The transparency with handling and distribution of prizes to the hackathon's winners can also be vulnerable. Like sometimes it can take like a lot of months to receive the payments, which is what happened with a hackathon that I participated in. And users select to participate in a specific hackathon with the risk of it maybe not being reliable. The solution is to create an effective platform that benefits the user into finding the desired competition. The creator of the hackathon will be able to create hackathons more effectively. This is a little bit of a preview that I will show later. There is a full working prototype. So the main functions are safe storage, as I said before, of the projects, achievements, and the user progress. The application of the hackathon creator will be done through a DAO, an efficient application. And you will also need to have a proof of funds method to ensure that the hackathon creator, will indeed actually, like pay the winners. Safe distribution. The prices distribution will be done transparently and efficiently with the use of an audited smart contract. And there is also a vault governed by a DAO. The funds will be obtained as a small commission when creating a hackathon or also by sponsorships. And the funds will be used for the development of Hackalope. How does it work? Well, really easily, the hackathon creator creates a hackathon. Again, it needs to be approved by the DAO. The creator can also be earning rating. So this means that once it creates a hackathon and it is ensured that it is like a real creator, it can then create a new hackathon, more easily. So this all becomes more efficient. The participant then enters the hackathon, it uploads a submission, and then that one is judged by the hackathon creator, who will choose the winner, and the funds will be transferred automatically. In case that a winner is not chosen like on the deadline, either the DAO can take the decision to judge them themselves. Of course, they will be earning also a part of this because they will be spending their time, or it can be done automatically and giving all participants a share. Well, these were some details about the smart contracts. Really easily, it receives the funds from the creator and then distributes them to the winners. Here, something important about details about the user. it would have a unique user verification in order to ensure that just one person participates once in a hackathon. The tentative proposal is to use World ID from WorldCoin. For anyone who doesn't know WorldCoin, it is a protocol on blockchain that ensures that one person can only participate in one like protocol. It is very versatile, so you like decide that. Users can also earn NFTs as achievements and show them in the platform as progress. Why now? Well, since 2016, in 2016, there were 3,400 hackathons, and in 2018, there were 5,600, and this number is expected to grow every year. There has also been a rise in some sectors, such as the manufacturing and transportation industries, who realize the benefits of working with developers and designers to explore ideas for businesses solutions in minimal time. So that's really important that it is minimal time, so, more efficient. And surprisingly, in 2018, only 9% of hackathons were focused on blockchain. Right now, there are probably a lot more, but that is the data from 2018. And here we can see the growth that has been happening in hackathon platforms. Competition, well, first of all, the differentiator would be to take advantage of blockchain technology. The participants and hackathons creators can have a smooth user experience. So some of these platforms are not on blockchain. So that would be first the differentiator. One of them, Taika, is actually on blockchain, and I did my little research on it and found some differences. First of all, in the user experience. Personally, I didn't really like that much the user experience. There wasn't like a profile with progress to showcase your progress, and not that many categories and filtering for the hackathons. So that would be like the differentiator. Why EOS? Well, you have a secure management and saving of users' progress. It is a blockchain with low custom transaction gas fees. It is efficient. It has efficient and quick transactions, interoperability with other blockchains, and a scalable environment. The business model will be when creating a new hackathon, a small commission is charged, and it will go to the vault. And this will be spent on further developing the platform. And well, the DAO will also decide what can be done with it. Sponsors can also be a way in which a platform gets revenue. So here it's really important to see that everyone wins. The hackathon creator pays a small commission to the vault, and that those funds are used to improve the platform and to for marketing to make it more known. And because of that the value goes back to the creator again, because more people participate in the hackathon. So it is like a cycle of, everyone wins. The market size and cost, more than $4 million are right now active in one hackathon platform. So there is a lot of, growth in this. From 2016 to 2018, there was an increment of 30% of internal hackathon. And the cost for deploying the platform would be mainly for hosting and domain services and group of developers. I believe that the biggest part would be on marketing, to get people to host our hackathon here and to get it known. Well, team, it's me, Iñigo Cepeda. I'm a UX designer and software engineering student. And a prototype, which will be on this link, and a case study can also be seen. I think I can show the prototype here. I think, can you guys see it? If anyone can tell me.
Yes.
Okay, well, this prototype done.
We see the link. I don't see the actual prototype. I think you're showing on your
slide.
Yeah, we're still looking at the slide. I don't think you can share your screen here.
Oh, no?
You should be able to, but I don't know if you want to take the time to figure this out on the air.
Well, that was pretty much the end. So,
so what is your marketing plan?
Well, the marketing plan is to get well, first of all, ads is a really important way. On Twitter, you sometimes see these projects ads. Another one is getting since it's with blockchain interoperability, is getting all of these other blockchains to host their hackathons here through the EOS network. And this way it would actually get more known.
So we have very much discovered recently that utilizing the marketing plans of these systems is quite important. It falls into the benefit of the organizations doing hackathons on side of these platforms to actually lean on the fact that they have their own marketing. How would you be providing that benefit to the people who are running hackathons.
Can you repeat the question, please?
How would you be taking stock of previous winners or participants and using that to further other projects coming on in the future?
Well, again, because of the marketing, like getting these other projects to host their hackathons on the platform, they would like then share on their social media, like, hey, we're hosting this hackathon, enter this link, and that way it will be like more, meaning like one person participates and then he tells his friend, and then it goes on and on.
So just as an example of kind of like a chicken and egg situation, Taikai, which was on one of your slides there, an Antelope-based platform that does this type of thing. And it would have made sense, being a hackathon kind of related to that we'd use that platform. One of the reasons we chose to go with DevPost was because of the marketing component that Nathan mentioned, the 6 figures of marketing emails and social media kind of push. It's a really tough space to kind of break into, because you have to have the marketing to get customers, and you have to have the experience to have that marketing list.
Yes, it will be a process that would take time, not one day to another, but yeah, definitely, like the marketing side is, again, the hardest part, that is like gradual,
All right. And I gave him a few extra moments there, but that is the end of that one. So awesome. Thank you very much. And we will move on to the next one of Web3. We've got 2 left. So for those hanging out, we've got great retention here. So, share this if you've got some other folks you think should watch this. And we've got 2 more presentations left of the Ideathon. And then we're going to have some demos from the Trust EVM side and bring in Ida from the Trust EVM team. Next for Web3, we've got Mark Stair. Mark Stair, welcome to the stream, good sir. I'm going to share your slide deck, and you may take it away.
Hello, guys. You know me from Tippet. What I'm going to talk about today is small business accounting and Web3. Crypto is typically focused on the investment side of business, individual investments, and then large companies doing exchanges like Coinbase and used to be FTX. But small businesses have been ignored pretty much in this wave. There's 3 components that are important. Of course, the investing we have in crypto, but the earning and the spending is the part that's missing. And we started to get a feel of the earning with the EOSBs, but then the EOSBs would immediately switch their EOS to some kind of fiat or something, rather than spending it right there. We want to enable those businesses to be able to use crypto directly and buy supplies as well. And if you don't know, small businesses drive the economy. There's many different components in part of small business accounting, including accounts receivable, accounts payable, which are purchase orders and things like that to buy your supplies, and partners and so on, as well as add-on type things like time tracking and other things. So small business accounting is critical. So in terms of with problems with respect to blockchain in this area, is that you're not able to receive your EOS from your customers. They don't know how to do it. But more importantly, you can't pay your suppliers, and even our Tippet employees won't really take EOS as part of their payment because they don't have a way to spend it on their rent and things like that. And partner accounts, when I talk about that, that's customers, suppliers, and employees. We put them together as partners because that's really the essence of cryptocurrency, is everyone has a stake. QuickBooks and QuickBooks Online lead the market in here, and they have a robust API and a good marketplace, but they're not GAAP compliant, which is not that required for small businesses, but we could provide solutions to make them GAAP compliant. And our company, we have 2 companies, Tippet and High Five Software Service Management Company. And we have extensive experience syncing with QuickBooks, QuickBook Time, QuickBook Online, and things like that. And at one point, we achieved gold partner status with Intuit's QuickBooks. So our idea is just to take these existing solutions that small business uses, which is QuickBooks, QuickBook Online, and link them with Web3. We want to create one sync platform that's a framework that other developers can also develop modules for this that works between the blockchain and the QuickBooks or other accounting. This looks better in a picture. So if you look at the top here, the green part is small business accounting, QuickBooks. I don't know if I have a pointer, but and above that, you have existing products that are syncing with QuickBooks, and we have a product for service management to do that. So the idea is in the middle here, where we create a new sync standard. Starts with the single sign-on, and then has the sync platform, and then we'll add the QuickBook and QuickBook Online, and allow developers to create other syncs for like Xero and FreshBooks and things like that. And then the key components of this is hooking the partner accounts. So really what that does is you set up what is their account they want to use to get paid for. So I'll go a little faster. A couple other ideas. Co-components are linking the partners with their EOS accounts, doing receivables, meaning you can send out an invoice and get paid in crypto. Also pay your suppliers in crypto, and then the general ledger is handled by QuickBooks. So minimum viable product. We've already done this solution, which I'll show you in a second. Let me just jump ahead, but we could have everything going by next week. This is an example of an email with a link that we've built for a system. Here you can see the invoice with the link in it, and this is where it goes to. And this is just the mock-up. We had started working on just being able to take credit card and ACH. So we add in ability to take EOS payments, and then use the ESR to do that. We have other ideas for items as NFTs. The sales tax idea is off the charts, a good idea, but I wanted to first have the framework. KeyFA is another idea that we're looking at. Point of sale is the big one in here. If we could get a module that's a point of sale, then you could imagine the EOSBs in Africa being able to have a hot dog stand, tweet and help promote different products, and then also pay their suppliers for the hot dogs and buns and things like that. This is a big idea. So we'll go after small crypto businesses like EOSBs and things like that. Even Tippet would need a solution like that. And then this is just about us. I'll take any questions.
Well, I just want to say I thought it was a really good presentation. So yeah, I don't have any questions because it was all very clear. And so yeah, I thought it was cool.
Yeah, there's
Thanks. I think it's timely. I think it's slightly early still, but if we could get this in place and move it slowly, I think one thing I've always thought about is if we could sort of get some better competition with QuickBooks and utilize the blockchain. So that would be one place we could go in the future as well. Is just completely take over not take over. I don't like to say that. Right now, you just work with the big guys and then get moving.
So if the accounting is the first one, what would be the next step?
Well, the accounting would be working with QuickBooks Accounting or QuickBook Online. They have a marketplace, and that's also how we would market the product. We'd be on their marketplace. And then after that, you would sort of build out the entire accounting piece that you need so that you don't need QuickBooks anymore. That's what I think would be a good direction. But even before that, you could have a platform, which would be we already do time tracking in our other company. That would be a good one where you track your time, it gets approved, and you're immediately paid. So this could be a module within there. The most important thing about this idea is the price oracle, that everything has to be in your base currency, US dollars. So, or Canadian dollars or whatever it might be, but you pick your base currency. You need to make sure every transaction goes out is translated into that base currency in terms of QuickBooks. So then you could do your sales tax, you could do your corporate income tax and things like that. And this whole idea, Mabel with the blue hair doing accounting doesn't have to really even know the blockchain stuff is going on underneath it, just like she doesn't know how credit cards work, really. So we could get that in place for small businesses without much disruption.
Mark, did you come up with this idea out of a recognition personally that this was, if I understand correctly, that's something that you guys want to use?
Yeah, and the EOSPs. I asked Jesse, how do you do your accounting and stuff? Man, he says, man, I could use something. If you got something, let me know. And we were doing the payouts for them, so you could imagine there's some difficulties in that.
Yes,
The EOSP thing could even be a plugin.
And report is amazing. So great job.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I can tell you that this particular idea and the problem that it aims to solve is one that I've heard multiple times being brought up as a current pain point. There have been a couple of initiatives that have tried to solve this, but I would say that it hasn't been successful. So there's been some CSV outputs, etc. But integrating directly into QuickBooks would obviously facilitate a lot of the business operations for a lot
I've personally
of
suffered
businesses.
this problem and had to build stuff to fix it. So,
I already have my third customer there. Thanks, Nathan. And we'll be seeing you guys for ENF grants, Eve. We could get this idea going. I think it could be good. I'm excited about it. We're ready to build it because of our other experience.
Perfect. All right. Thanks. That was great, Mark. And thanks for the questions and feedback, judges. We are now moving on to the final presentation. These are all randomized, by the way. For anyone curious, this was just a random selection of the order. So next, we were going to bring up Tony from Block Hotel. This is the final submission for the 3 Web3 projects. Tony, you're good to go. Take it away.
Oh, hello, everybody. Thank you very much for having us, Block Hotel. It's a bit long, so I'm going to run straight through. So Block Hotel, hotels decentralized. So hotels are the mainstay of the travel industry, right? If you've got no hotels, travel is quite difficult. So what Block Hotel seeks to do is to basically get hotels to express their inventory, specifically their inventory, on the blockchain as NFTs. The idea is that by doing so, we enable hotels to become much more flexible and to access revenue streams that they typically would not be able to access with today's sort of like contracting models, whereby, the travel industry has got a lot of stacks and it's very, very complicated, once you leave the actual hotel itself. So how does it work? So how the system works is that basically the hotel will publish its inventory as it does regularly on a daily basis. Customers would then buy that inventory via various channels. They'll then travel to their hotel, present their NFT. The hotel would take the NFT in exchange for facilitating their stay, burn that NFT, and then give the customer their specific amenities and so on. So the real problem is that today a lot of very tumultuous events are happening, right, and continually impacting the travel industry. First we had Ash Cloud, if you can remember that far back. Then we have COVID. And then, we don't know what is around the corner, given that we're in the early 2020s. And so the thing is that for hotels, a big worry for them is risk management and how do we keep operating, when, a whole swathe of travelers can be sort of like taken off the market just by the stroke of a pen. So the idea of Block Hotel in terms of using NFTs is that it allows the hotels to basically express their travel rules and risk mitigations in a way that when they sell their inventory, the inventory is basically passed on completely with rules and everything to their customers. But their customers are freed, i.e. the travelers are freed from the restrictions of said inventory, because the thing is that they've got a token which is transferable. So the thing is that if they can't make a particular stay, they can actually sell it to somebody else. And it also makes it collateralizable as well, because it's actually got a tangible value. The hotel will honor that token when it's presented to the hotel. So it does have an actual monetary value. In terms of the architecture of the service, it's very straightforward. The idea is to basically build this using EOS smart contracts, and then have a hosted API and a hosted UI, and then use decentralized storage in terms of managing the data. Given the number of rooms that would typically be dealing with, and the amount of time we'd typically be dealing with, the preference would be to use something like IPFS, because it requires quite a lot of data storage, and there are a lot of sort of intricacies around that in terms of encryption and so on, which we would then have to look at with respect to the implementation. In terms of how it sits on chain, basically there'll be three major contract blocks. One is a cartridge contract because of the scale, because the thing is that if you're dealing with a hotel with 300 rooms and over 365 days, you can do the maths, and then you multiply that by, let's say, a number like 67. That's quite a lot of data which you have to deal with. And so for the typical smart contract, you have to write it, so that it works optimally. And then we have dedicated mint contracts and dedicated distribution contracts, so as to facilitate things like traceability in the case whereby, you have anomalies and things going wrong at this particular level and scale. In terms of the key features, Block Hotel provides flexibility. It provides composability. Your NFTs are collateralizable, and most importantly, your NFTs are ownable. These are all features which in your current hotel booking, you're not really going to get. Your wholesalers might have access to some of these features, but you, the average traveler, will typically not be able to sort of like put your own trip together and take advantage of certain relationships which, you may or may not be aware of with respect to the organizations that you're actually using. In terms of our business model, what we're looking at is that we would generate revenue from things like transfers, minting, decentralized finance, and also from partnerships, which we would establish, as part of the implementation of the business model for Block Hotel. Inventory as NFTs, as mentioned earlier, is quite simply the hotel expresses its inventory matrix. It uploads it into Block Hotel. Block Hotel then runs the minting and the distribution down to the various channels and the value chain that the hotel actually uses. And then the thing is, the people in the value chain then take those NFTs and then compose them into new, different, and more exciting sort of products. In the event that you can't make your trip, what happens is that once you've got your NFT, if you fall ill and your trip is non-cancelable, you can put it onto something like Atomic Marketplace. Somebody else can come along, buy that particular NFT, and because it's on Atomic Marketplace, and depending, of course, on the rules associated with the NFT, a royalty may go back to the hotel, but ultimately you're going to get some money back in terms of your booking, and somebody's going to have the privilege of being able to take advantage of the stay that you were not able to take. Another aspect of Block Hotel is that because we're now using NFTs, these NFTs are now collateralizable. So the thing is that, you can buy your trip early while the prices are low, put your trip into a DeFi pool, get a loan against it, so you get some money back. And then when you're ready to actually take your trip, before the liquidation date, obviously, you can then settle your loan, which would be much cheaper than trying to buy your hotel or at least your stay, at that point in time, because it would probably be much more expensive. Get your NFT and head off on your trip. In terms of competitors in the space, what we're looking at people like SiteMinder, Alice, RMS, Little Hotelier. These are commonplace within the industry, but what we focus on is the fact that we are only specifically looking at inventory, and in terms of them, they look at the whole thing, so the whole service management piece, and it's all tied up. Our view is that we want to take the inventory out because that's the biggest issue for the actual hotel, and that's where the biggest risk is, because if a room is not sold, it's not sold, and so the thing is that you've still got the operational cost and the operational overhead of taking care of that room. In terms of the market size, for the UK, we're looking at about roughly 6.8 billion, at 70%. For the US, it's about 10 times as large. And the profile we're looking at is roughly, hotels with about 300 rooms and average night stays 120. We've got the growth metrics, which you can see. And in terms of the investment, we've put a notional of like 2.1 with a typical split. Founder is myself, Tony, experience in travel, experience in banking. And in terms of our timelines, proof of concepts till about March, and then we'll hope to MVP through to about June. Any questions, please?
Yes, I'd like to hear more about why the blockchain needs to be leveraged for this particular use case.
Because the thing is that in terms of this particular use case, the blockchain is open, right? Okay. Today, hotel inventory is stored in databases, right, which are closed or in a central reservation service, like I think it's Galileo, one of these, or Amadeus. And so the thing is that it's closed. So the thing is that for the hotel, that's bad, because the thing is that they can't really see how their inventory is actually performing and how their customers are actually using it. And for the traveler, it's also bad, because the thing is that it means that, if you've got no cancellation, then you're stuck with that, right? Okay, if you can't make the trip, you don't get the privilege of, trying to get some money back. You basically just got to cancel your trip, and that's it. You see what I'm saying? For the hotel, the other thing is that, in terms of their sales, one of the challenges which they have is that, unless a room is sold, right, okay, then they don't get anything for it, right? So if you cancel a room, they kind of don't get anything for it, because the thing is like there's a whole bunch of commissions and things like that, which also happen in there as well.
What's your go-to-market strategy for?
So the go-to-market is pretty straightforward. So the idea is to engage with hotels with a focus on independence, to get an understanding of exactly sort of like what are the key issues with respect to the hotels themselves.
Do you have any affiliation with booking sites, agents, hotels?
So they are in the value chain. So the idea is that we would actually approach the physical hotels themselves, and then we would work out the value chain flows around that, because the thing is there's a whole series of contracts which we then have to sort of like navigate to make sure that, we sort of like build around those things, and sort of like we're working with it rather than against it, because the thing is that the hotel industry is a big, 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 hairy beast. And so the thing is that we want to basically, sort of like shave it gently and give it a nice hairdo, not tell them that we're actually going to, totally change everything.
Isn't there a benefit to the hotel, though, through?
Unfortunately, we're going to have to leave it with the hairdo comment as being the final last words.
I agree, Darren. I agree.
Okay, awesome. Well done, everybody. Stamina for the max here. So now what's going to happen, that is the end of the 15 submissions. Well, 14, we had one not show. So pretty darn good uptake there. The judges are going to take off and do their own little internal deliberation now, check their scores. They're going to come back after we have the EVM track, basically doing some demos. So Ida is going to come on screen. I'm going to remove the trusty judges, who will be back. Take it easy, fellas. Okay, now it's just me, and I'm going to bring Ida on. Ida, welcome. Thank you for being here and your patience and waiting for your turn.
Thank you, Chris. Hi, everyone. Sorry, can you see my?
I'm going to bring it up right now, and
okay,
it's all yours. Just signal to me when you want some of the other folks brought in, and I'll be listening and ready to help. Take it away.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. It's Ida from Trust EVM marketing team. I'm honored to attend the final ceremony on behalf of Trust EVM. First of all, thanks to all participants who contribute themselves to building the projects in this hackathon. And second, I want to thank you to all Antelope members and developers for your efforts in holding this fascinating event. And last, thank you to community for supporting Trust EVM. Now we are excited to announce the EVM track winners. The first prize winners is Trankers. Trankers is a play-and-learn Web3 game that focuses on community growth, features simple and funny gameplay, and sustainable economic model. Tranker is highly excited to show its potential when running on Trust EVM. And the second prize winners are Zombie Smash and Soldier Ant Colony. Zombie Smash is a 2D card game with a theme of smashing and killing zombies. We appreciate the game design and token model, which could attract more new users for us. And Soldier Ant Colony is a Web3 game that mimics the bio-inspiration of the soldier ant for food hunting. A very interesting game theme. And the winner will show us more later. And now the third prizes winners are DF Social Gaming and Digital Scratch Card. DLAV social gaming enable users to earn crypto while competing in video games utilizing Trust EVM. It unifies multiple dimensions like gaming, crypto, and social. And Digital Scratch Card is a card scratching dApp where users can win prizes by matching three graphics. It's going to be used not only for individuals, but also companies and small business. All right, congratulations to all winners and welcome to join Trust EVM. Now I'm happy to have the presenters from Trankers and Soldier Ant Colony to demo their projects. Zombie Smash is not available for some reasons, but I will play the videos to introduce for him later. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Ida. So who do you want first then? Is it we're Trankers first?
Yeah.
Okay, let's bring in Madav. Welcome. And we're going to do your screen. And you're on mute if you want to do any talking before you start. Oh, you're still on mute.
Yeah, sorry.
There you go.
Yeah. So, yeah. So, hello everyone. My name is Madhav Sharma. I am one of the team members of Core Decoders, and we have developed a game called Trankers on top of the Trust EVM blockchain. And yeah, so let's get started. So, the problem with the current Web3 gaming space is that most of the games out there are like heavily too much focused on the play to earn model. What happens as a result is that the games become less enjoyable and the community of the games dies like at a later stage. So to make these games sustainable in the longer run, what we have built is a game that is based on the play and earn model, which means that what we are focusing in is making the game enjoyable and focusing on the strong community growth and basically allowing the young generation, basically the game they play, to onboard them into the Web3 space. So this is the project workflow. Let's say Bob wants to play the game. So Bob would enter the Trankers website. There he will enter the inventory, which is the NFT marketplace, in which the Bob can buy tanks and purchase upgrades for that. And after purchasing those, Bob can enter the playground. And the playground is basically the game arena in which whatever the items the user owns, he can select from there and start destroying enemy tanks and turrets and gain points out of that. And the more points you gain, the more TRT tokens, which is the in-game tokens, you can earn out of it. The overall workflow is quite simple, but we are still experimenting with complicated stuff and more different ideas. So yeah. So how it works? So yeah, again, so this is just a basic 3-step process. The first is to buy items from the inventory, then entering the playground, and basically start earning from while enjoying. So what's the revenue model for Trankers? So we are basically dependent on 2 main streams. The first one being transaction based, which means that for every transaction happening on the inventory for the NFT marketplace, we gain some sort of a fee for that. And with that, we have a token based revenue stream, which is that the TRT token we just mentioned. So yeah. Moving forward, I will be showing you a video for our demo. And yeah, so this is the Trankers website. So first of all, what you need to do is connect your wallet. And yeah, so all of these tranks are being listed here and the bullet upgrades are as well. So now let's purchase a tank by, yeah. So yeah, so this is the EVM you can buy. And after clicking, yeah, so like you can see the first tank has been increased the owner value by 2, and similarly the balance has been updated. And now you can purchase the upgrade using the TRT tokens as well that you gain out of the game. So if you click on, let's say, 8 TRT, you can actually buy this using the in-game token. So let's click on confirm. Yeah. So now owner value should be updated in a few seconds. Yeah, so the owner value has been updated to 2. So now let's enter the playground, which is the game arena. So this is the game built in Unity, and it is a 2D game, but we plan to develop more out of it. So as you can see in the top right corner, the TRT tokens value has been synced with the blockchain. And yeah, so let's click on play. And since we only own one tank at the time and one bullet, so let's select both of those. Yeah, I don't know what is. Yeah. So yeah, this is the tank, and basically the aim of the game is to destroy enemy warship that is appearing. Currently they are AI based generated, but we plan to bring multiplayer support, which will be shown in the next screen. And as you can see here, the score in the top right corner is being updated according to the damage the user is doing. So yeah, eventually the health will go down. Yeah, and as you can see, the user has an option to claim these 2 TRT tokens. So let's click on claim, and yeah, let's just wait for a second for the blockchain to get updated. Yeah, and as you can see here, I had to like cut the video because sometimes they take time, but as you can see in the bottom left corner, the value has been increased by 2. And yeah, this is the basic gameplay. So hope I was clear, but anyway, this is the roadmap for the game. So in the months of September and October, we developed this prototype, and basically we are starting to create a community on different social media platforms out there, because it is one of the key components for any Web3 game. Next, in the current month in November and the upcoming couple of months, we will be like adding more features to it, adding more utilities, improving the UIX, and having OpenSea integration for the NFTs. And basically in January we will be starting our closed beta, which means basically taking feedback from the community that we have generated in the upcoming weeks, and then in February and May we will be finally launching our final release for the game. Yeah. What is the future scope? So these are quite a few things that we plan to add in the future. These include complex tokenomics. So as you saw, the tokenomics was quite basic right now, but we plan to add more functionality to it. Then we have the in-game voice chat feature, NFT trading, and basically skill-based matchmaking, as well as integrating SBTs for in-game achievements in the game. The team consists of 2 people right now. Myself, I am Madhav Sharma, and I am basically a full stack developer. And for this project, I worked as a blockchain developer. And my team member is Kunal Jain, who worked as a Unity game developer for this project. Yeah, so this was all about our project, and we plan to add more functionalities, more games into the Web3 gaming space. Yeah, so that's all from my side.
Perfect. Thank you very much for the presentation. Ida, are you there? Do you want us to bring in the next presenter, which looks like Augustine?
I want to share the videos for Zombie Mash first.
Okay, perfect. Let's find Ida. Here we go. Your screen. It's there. Yep, take it away.
Okay, thank you. Let's see the video for Zombie Smash.
Hello and welcome to Zombie Smash. Zombie Smash is a game that I've developed for the Trust EVM GameFi track. And the principle is that you and your smasher have to cross over the USA to deliver an important package. The only issue is that it's full of zombies. The game is a 2D card game that will make you go from one point to another on the 2D map while smashing and killing zombies on your way. It's inspired from the very popular Earn to Die tube game here that you can see. You're just driving around and killing zombies that are going to attack you, and you have to upgrade your vehicle to make it more tough, to add some weapons and stuff. So this game has more than 100 million downloads on Android alone. So I'm thinking that it would be great to do something similar on chain. So here is also some screenshots of AmpDie. So first off, we needed some designs. So for this, we hired the artist Robson Texera on Fever. You can see here that we paid him quite a lot already, and we are still working with him to design much more. So we already have one smasher, a garage, some upgradable elements, a background for the game, a zombie, and yeah, we're still designing more stuff. What's great is that we own the full copyrights for everything that you're gonna see next. So yeah. So let me show you the game itself. So go to zombiesmash.io and make sure that you have installed MetaMask and that you are connected to the Trust network, that you have some tokens right there. Click Connect Wallet. It's going to authorize the connection. And first, you're going to see here your smashers. And here, those that are on sale on the marketplace. So we already have implemented a marketplace on the smart contract in the game. So this is a fully working marketplace. And if you want to buy one, you can just click buy here, and it's going to trigger a transaction to buy it. I already have one, so here I'm going to click select, and this is going to open the garage where I can upgrade my smasher. So I already have a few upgrades, as you can see. Let me upgrade the armor, for example. I'm going to add middle piece here, and this is going to trigger a transaction on chain to actually update the metadata of that NFT. Right now the upgrades are free, but we are working on the smasher coin that you're going to earn at the end of each level, and that will allow you to buy upgrades in the garage. So once you're done with this, you can click play here, and you're going to access a very early design of our of a first level. So there is not much yet to do right now except driving a little bit. So use the directional arrow for that. And yes, a little bit of issues with zombies getting getting in the middle of the build. Well, I guess it's realistic, you know. I guess the zombie parts would definitely be an issue for a real car. So yeah, that's about it. We are, as I said, actively working on it. So not much yet to see, but I'm sure this is going to be a very fun game once it's done. So thank you very much for watching. And yeah. Well, let me tell you a little bit more about what we plan also for the levels. So right now, you see a beginning of level that we're doing, but the goal is really to have an editor for everyone to create their own levels, and we want levels to be tokens themselves. You're going to use the editor to create your level and mint a non-transferable NFT for your level, and you're going to be able to mint as many as you want and sell them on the marketplace. We really want to create to build around the creator economy, and this is a screenshot for Happy Wheels. I don't know if you know about it, but it's also very popular, and all these levels are created by people, and other people just play with it and rate them, and we want to do something similar in terms of ratings, so you know if a level is good and to buy it or not. Why non-transferable NFT? We believe that this would give more money to the creator to have this system rather than having people resell their levels between each other. But this is definitely something that we can modify. This is just an idea. We really want the creators to make money with it, so that would motivate them. We also plan to only have a 5% fee on selling the levels, so the creator would get 95% of the price. This is a design that we're still working on, and we are planning something like a map for the marketplace where you would have all the levels displayed on it. So come back to see the advancements. I'm going to stop here. I'm going to let you read the game flow, token model, distribution, and economy that we're planning, also the to-do list that we are currently working on. And yeah, that's about it. So I hope you like it, and bye-bye.
All right, that was excellent.
Yeah, thank you, Chris.
I love the part where the zombies got stuck under the car, and he said that, "Oh, hey, it's realistic." Okay, we'll bring on. Looks like you want Augustine to come up next. thinking yes. Augustine, welcome.
Thank you.
We're going to add your deck, and you may take it away and talk about your presentation.
Hi, everyone. My name is Augustine. I'm here to talk about my project, Soldier Ant Colony. A lot of games are already existing, and it has been difficult for people to understand and play these games. And as the GameFi continue to gain adoption, we need to introduce new ways of playing games to aim. So the solution that we brought about is the Soldier Ant Colony. In this game, we try to mimic the bio-inspiration from the soldier ant or the army ants. And these are a breed of insect that lives in colonies. And when I did the research and studied about them, I found out that colonies fight for food, one colony against the other. And that inspiration actually made me to start building a Web3 based game that can actually mimic such bio-nature's work. So soldier ant colony colonies fight against other colonies, and the bigger colonies will actually win the food. So how do we play the game? You connect your MetaMask wallet, and you select a character, then you fight for food. So if you defeat the boss, you get rewarded. So let's get the demo video. The video.
Did you share another screen that has the video? Oh, you do. That one?
Hi everyone, I'm here to demo my project, Soldier Ant Colony. This was built as part of this hackathon, and let's look at what we have here. This is our homepage, the marketplace, the collaborate. Look at where we can swap or buy tokens. You can connect with your Sequence wallet. So collaborate here and enables other members of the community to be able to design the kind of characters that they have seen in our marketplace, and they'll be able to mint this character and earn some royalty from their work. So let's look at the marketplace. So this is the marketplace where you see various soldier ant character you can buy for certain amount of EVM tokens. So let's get started. So okay, before I get started, let me show us the roadmap so you can collaborate and create characters and weapons. So this is our roadmap, and we intend to continue to work on this game till it becomes a finished product. So let's get started. We connect, and we select our play. So this is where we connect with an account. Good. So here from the marketplace, I can now see some characters for me to mint. So it has sensed that this particular wallet address doesn't have an already existing character. So it displays the character for me to mint. So let me mint Labidos. So all right, so I confirm minting in process, as you can see. So as the minting, yes, the transaction is confirmed and the minting is done. So right here I can now see the game. So let me refresh. All right, so you can now see the attack damage on this is 500. So I have to play the game by clicking on attack. Once I click on attack, it's an on-chain game. It's going to allow me to confirm the attack on Zant the repellent. So once the attack is confirmed, as you can see, attacking. So Zant is already feeling the attack as this. So Zant the repellent was hit for 500. You can see the health power or health point for Zant has reduced by 500, and Zant also attacked with 100. So I initiate another attack here. Now we use chain link to pull out the randomness of attack. So this will be determined by the chain link attack. So with this, the attack continues, and whosoever arrives at 0 wins the game. So this is how the game is. So I'm issuing another attack, and it's on-chain based because each of these attack must be accepted on chain. So with this, good, the attack has gone. So this is what the attack continues till one of them reaches 0. So I don't know the game, we intend to make it multiplayer in the future, because right now it is still a single player game, and some of this some of our roadmap add weapons to the marketplace. These are some of the things we intend to do. So thank you. If you enjoy the game, you root so that we can work more on the game to make it a finished product. Thank you. All right, can I get the PowerPoint slide?
There you go.
Okay. So finally, you can contact us with this various avenue. Thank you for listening, and remain blessed.
Very good. Thank you, Augustine. Congratulations with the success of your game. And with that, we are through the presentation. So thank you, everyone who's made it this far. This is, I think we've come a long way. We're going to bring the judges back now, who are going to talk us through who the grand winners are of the Ideathon. So let's bring them all back onto the screen. Hello, fellas. And we are missing Zach. There he is. Zach. Okay. I will let you guys take it away. So, or I guess I can hang around. Basically, I don't know if you want to talk through, anyone want to take the stage for a moment and just speak through the process? How did you find the projects? Maybe a little high level overview before we get into them one by one. Eve, you want to comment, or Zach, any thoughts on what you saw?
Can you repose the question? Apologies. The audio is just coming in for me now.
Yeah, just a general question, just a comment for the audience who are watching. How did you find the judging experience? Any thoughts about what you saw or didn't see?
Yes, sure. So it was very good. I mean, we could see. So in the background, we were rating as we were seeing the presentations live, and as it was mentioned a few times, the participants who gave more chance for questions, obviously it affected the judging because we're able to see clarification. I think overall the submissions were really good. It was pretty nice to see there are a few ideas out there that were quite innovative, creative, and really thought outside of the box. And that's one thing that was cool for the Ideathon, is that it's really just focusing on the idea. You don't need to actually have anything built. Theoretically, you should have nothing built. So you should be able to focus on On the why, I think it was also brought up that you don't need to have an answer for everything. And we saw that some of the people just said, yeah, I don't know. And that's okay. That was good. When we went to the judging afterwards, just to try and consolidate, it was pretty clear. Like, there's some people that stood out. Overall, I think the majority of the ideas were pretty good. It was great to be able to see this. I think you mentioned that we received over 140 or so qualified submissions, which is really great. It was great as well to see some of the people that have been in the EOS ecosystem or Antelope ecosystem now for years coming back and still participating on this. So a lot of familiar faces. And yeah, looking forward to what comes next after this. For each category, they're pretty much clear winners. And so I guess we're going to get into that.
All right. Yeah. So the very first one, we'll do it in order. So DeFi came up first. And Darren, you've been given the honor to talk about the winning project and what went into that.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So there was 3, and they're all great. I mean, as Eve said, these are all kind of, these are at the germination stage, the idea stage. So, it's good to see the kind of the creative juices at work, I guess. For us, I think we all agreed that the winner, if you like, was Realot, and for me that was really good use of NFTs. It's a real world business kind of demand that uses and leverages blockchain technology. A lot of thought had gone into the product. It's a big asset. It's a big target market, and there was clearly a very good understanding of the industry behind it. So it was more than just aspirational. So for me, Realot was was a winner, was a clear winner. And if I just say a couple of words about the other 2, because I think just to, some ideas. I think for me, Starting Blocks was a bit too centralized and a bit too kind of just crowdfunding. We're going to run it, we're going to do it, kind of thing. And so that's fine as a business. I'm sure it's a great business, but I'd say if you want to make it more akin to the kind of ethos of a blockchain, think about some real decentralization. Think about much more of a kind of social capital, DAO-like structure. Take the obligation, take the responsibility away from a centralized entity and allow it as more of a kind of open source protocol. And Anticard, I mean, slightly different, but kind of a Anticard, great idea. It's just it's a massive space to try and build in on your own. Like, you've got crypto.com, you've got all of these people out there, you've got all the big credit card companies, you've got even more now with recent events, huge regulatory oversight. That means huge capital investment that you'd have to make in something like this. So I think, great idea. Find a couple of decent partners, get the idea with them, and it's it's interesting. But I think it's a little bit too ambitious from where you are right now. But yeah, Realot.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you, Darren. Next up is Social Good with Ben Sigmund. Let us know how Social Good looked.
Yes, Social Good is always good. What we were looking for in this category was something that contributed to the good on a protocol level. And it was very close. So thank you to everyone who submitted for this category and for the people who presented. Everyone had pretty close scores, but the winner is the EOS community key recovery. And the reason that we chose that is that there are some implementations of key recoveries, but they're mostly wallet based. And we'd love to see a protocol level implementation. We realize there's some technical details to figure out, June, but congratulations.
All right. Thank you for that. Let's move on to the next one then, which is Gov3. Who is doing Gov3? I think Eve, right? You're up for Gov3?
I'm doing Gov3. First of all, thank you very much to the 3 participants, or I guess all of the participants in that category. For us, there was a clear winner in this one that solved an actual real life, I wouldn't say problem, but an opportunity that was being presented, and that had a lot of impact potential, a lot of viability in terms of being able to deploy that and or create that. And it was quite creative because it really thinks outside of the box. And that person also gave us a lot of time to be able to ask further questions and being able to actually try to delve deeper into what was being presented and how it could potentially be achieved. And that winner was the Roberts rules on chain. So I think that the stage was set in terms of how many people are in remote locations, working, participating through video teleconference. And so we've all, it really touches people because we've all felt that there could be more organization within the meetings that we're holding, just like this one, for example, and having a clear set of rules which exist outside of blockchain, which have been used for a very, very long time, and being able to port that function on the blockchain for our particular use case and such, I think was quite innovative, it's quite creative, it's quite simple as well. And so it's actually achievable. And so congratulations to the Roberts rules on chains. Good job with that one.
Excellent. Any comment? We kind of not going through second and third. We'll announce that later, but I suppose we could. I mean, do we want to say who second and third was as we go through this? We kind of skipped the previous two, but
do you want to go back afterwards, or I can give the second and third for this one?
You might as well give the second since you're here.
All right. So way to change the rules.
Yeah,
so Free DAO came in second place, the DAO tool for everyone. That one, I guess some of the feedback is Hypha DAO currently exists. It's already in production. It's been in production now for years. There was a lot of similarity between the two. And if one thing, when that team presented the slide of here are the comparables out there, and they presented the known ones, but they didn't present the obvious one that's already in Antelope, that's been working now for some time. I did like, though, that there was a difference in that this leveraged, I guess, KYC. And I do see that there's a viability in being able to port over that onto EOS, for example. So good job with that one. And then the third place then would be Angel DAO. Thank you very much.
Okay, awesome. And I guess I'll just briefly catch us up just to spare some time here. So for the DeFi, we had Starting Blocks came in second and Anti-Card came in third. For the Social Good, it was really tight. I'm looking at your scorecard. So we had Atlas come in second, and Optimizing for Social for Tolerance came in third. And then we just did Gov3. So we're good. So, okay, now we go to GameFi. That is Zach Gall with GameFi.
So the scores were relatively close. There were only two participants, so there's a winner and a runner-up. What it really came down to, what kind of was the deciding factor, was one of them was clearly Antelope-based project, and the other one was based on EVM. They for the zombie game, they did mention Trust EVM on there, but different components it would rely upon, for example, an NFT marketplace, which should exist when it launches, but it's just an outside piece. So the winner of GameFi was GameFi Marketing on Antelope by Hoken Tech. The other thing is that as a bonus point, that they also had a live working demo on their dev post page for their GameFi project. So congratulations to Hoken Tech and Alfredo and his team there.
Awesome. Okay, thank you. And last but not least, Nathan James, who's coming fresh off of mouth surgery. So glad he could make it today and able to talk. Tell us about.
So we had a pretty clear winner here. There was a use case which most of us have identified as a pain point in our own previous businesses, current businesses, and we know will be a pain point in future businesses. This was, of course, the small business accounting and Web3 by Mark Sterr from Tippett. I think that it's pretty clear to everybody who watched how excited we were to hear this, because we just want to see something like this so that we never have to deal with the muckery that is trying to get accounting from EOS blockchains. And there's many other implications that this has in the wider accounting world, which I think that we were all very optimistic and excited about. The runner-up to this was Block Hotel. One of the big things that I think brought it down to second place was the fact that it is a huge undertaking, and the go-to-market strategy requires you to actually physically talk to a lot of hotels. I would actually personally turn it the other way and try to talk to the platforms, because they have access to those hotels first off, and go through that way. And then the last was Hackalope. And I think that really the core issue that we noticed here is, because we've done a couple hackathons now, and we understand this from the company's perspective, that we rely very heavily on the marketing of these platforms. So an answer to the question, what is your marketing strategy, should have been a little bit stronger from our perspective.
Okay, great. Well, judges, definitely thank you so much. This has been a ton of your time. A lot of very talented individuals, a lot of brain power who are in high demand for your time. So thank you for everything you've done here. I'll give you an opportunity. Any kind of parting words here before we move to basically keynote speech from Brock Pierce and just closing it up. We're basically done. But I'll provide an opportunity for any parting words of.
Do we do the whole Go EOS thing?
We don't have to do that. That never worked live. Let's be honest.
You're muted, Darren.
I'm on mute. I just thought it was really good to hear lots of different ideas, things that you probably don't normally think about, what I don't normally think about anyway. So, it's quite inspirational in a way that people are kind of coming together like that.
Awesome. Ben, Zach, Eve, anything?
Well, I kind of gave my first thoughts, but just to reiterate, thank you very much, everybody, for participating. It was great. 140 or over 140 submissions, 140 qualified submissions. That is incredible. So thank you very much, everybody, for participating. Looking forward to do this again. The quality of the submissions that we had to receive, as a few other judges mentioned, it was quite close in some categories because it was really good. Good job, everybody, and thank you very much, Chris, Wax, and everybody else in the background for organizing this. This went really, really smooth. Good job. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, guys, everyone who's submitted and been involved in the entire process here of the Ideathon hackathon, and of course, all the shoulders that they stand upon, and all the people that came before building all these tools that we're building on. It's great, and the submissions were awesome. It's been a lot of fun. So I loved being here and being a part of it, and the creativity and the differentiation between the projects was awesome to see. I think that with the market conditions being what they are now, and the source of failure being centralization, there's never been a better time to be building decentralized tools, because that's the solution, not the problem. And so let's keep building.
Well said.
Just want to point out that I was happy to see that so many of the winners, I couldn't do the quick math, but probably 3 or 4 of the winners are pretty familiar faces from the EOS community. So I was happy to see some core contributors to the community already getting the top prizes. So whether they continue to build upon their ideas, or they use the funding to continue what they're doing as far as just active community members, I was really happy to see the individuals that stepped up and won the cheese.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and those in our community had an advantage. I mean, you heard about this early, right at the very beginning, even before it was live. And then as the weeks passed, the EOS Fireside Chats, which take place every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern. So what is that, 1800 UTC now? Or no, that's not the right math. 2000, anyway, 3 p.m. Eastern, use that. So, those who were there got the inside scoop. We were talking about the categories, the prizes that were available, of course, but just the judging criteria. So you knew how to curate and create the best pitch. And then we also had all of these live events leading up to this, all the workshops that folks in our community were the first to sort of be aware of and participate. So to those who are watching this, you feel like you missed out, it's not too late. I have a feeling, due to the success of this event, this probably won't be our last. I think this is a great venue to bring in new people, new ideas. And so tell your friends who aren't part of our Antelope/EOS ecosystem yet, bring them over, because there's an opportunity here for growth and building, and obviously great support from the key figures of our space on this call. So gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. I will let you go with that. You may have the rest of your day back. Again, thank you. This was a lot of your time to give to this, and it is certainly very appreciated. So with that, we move on to basically just closing up. We've got a keynote speech recorded from Brock. He couldn't do it live. He's going to be on Fox News right now. In fact, he is scheduled to be there right now. So if you want to watch Brock twice, you can try to do this in dual, which I don't recommend. So here's his speech, and then we'll wrap it up.
Brock Pierce here. Glad to be showing up for the EVM Ideathon. Thank you to all of our judges, all of the participants, all of the companies that have presented, everyone that's tuning in, and those that help facilitate this whole thing, specifically the ENF, Yves and Zach, and the Helios team, Chris and Waxa. I've been popping in throughout the event, listening to some parts of the pitches. I'm, as usual, triple booked. I've got a bunch of things going on, but just really happy to see what's happening here. I'm excited about EVM and Solidity development coming to EOS the beginning of next year. And I think it's worth pointing out just everything going on in the markets. Lots of exciting development that's been happening here in EOS. The critical elements that we've been lacking for so long are really present, even though the broader market doesn't seem to see it. Well, the broader market, quite frankly, is more or less just imploded. So I think it's worth taking a moment to talk about this. And first of all, tell you my perspective. I get very excited during these moments, despite all of what's happening, because through each of the cycles that I've lived through, this is when the real work is done. As I like to say, bull markets produce bullshit, and bear markets bear fruit. In the bull markets, you have this irrational exuberance. Everybody's living crazy. No one gets up and works with a real work ethic. Nobody seems to stay in their jobs. Everybody's floating around. Markets are irrational. People are just throwing money at things in a way where it tends to lead to the chaos that we're experiencing right now. In these bear markets is when the riffraff basically get out of the way, and I know it's hard. And you gotta stretch those coins, you gotta stretch those dollars much further. But this is when the real work is done. This is the fertile soil in which we can plant the seeds of the future. This is when we build, and in those bull markets is when we're meant to harvest. So I'm excited to get back to work. Really excited about the progress that we've seen here, and EOS and Antelope and all the relevant or related chains. I'm really grateful to see all of you participating and to closing this year, knowing that we've had a lot of development that's occurred. And as the rest of the market retracts as it doesn't, again, in its own way, create another opportunity for EOS here in the short term. Solana's got its challenges, and this may be our moment. So let's keep building, and thank you all for your participation. And anything that you ever want from us here at Helios, again, as always, reach out to Chris, reach out to Waxa, myself, and however we can be of service. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Brock. That was great. That is a great line. Bull markets create bullshit. And we swore live on YouTube. This is going to make it so that maybe kids can't watch the stream. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We've come a long way. This has been a long stream. So thank you for your patience. Again, thank you to our judges. We've got Ben Sigmund from Helios and Bitcoin Libre, Darren Swords from the UX team and Origin, Nathan James from the ENF, Yves LaRose, ENF, and Zach Gall from the ENF. Just also to point out, beyond the cash prizes that are going to be denominated in EOS, all of the winners and runner-ups will be invited to a special Helios incubator program that is going to be designed specifically for early stage projects that might in fact only be in the idea stage. So that's something we're going to offer to all of the winners and runner-ups. And we're not sure exactly how we're going to present this, but we want to do more of these live events, more interaction, more opportunity for people to interact with us, interact with these projects, and also just to yourself participate so you can benefit from the growth that's happening, the building that is going on. As Brock says, now is the time to build. And I think we all see that. We see great opportunity for EOS. Things are happening. We've seen some big movements recently, a bit of drama, arguably, but you know what? The show must go on. We're moving forward. Progress is still progress, and we're going to do it together with a unity and collected, and hopefully, and really win the day is the goal. So just some call to actions. You follow Helios and the ENF and all of our judges on Twitter. We'll put descriptions in links to all of those in the description below. Let us know in the comments what you liked. What was your favorite project? If you were to rank the 15 that you saw, How would you rank them? Were the judges wrong? Do they need to be slapped? Are they off base here, or did they nail it in terms of how you saw? And then, of course, this probably won't be the last event. Like I mentioned earlier, I have a feeling we can do this again. This was quite a success as far as I think anyone watching objectively would feel. So stay tuned. Follow us on all the links and all the social channels. Tune in, especially join the EOS Discord. There's so much there and so much community engagement, and those fireside chats are really invaluable, especially because we've got Eve and Zach are pretty much there every single time answering questions from the community. So, and we'll be there too from Helios. If you have questions about our incubator and how you can participate, then that's a great place to join, or even the Helios Discord itself. So with that, I will end this stream. Thank you, everyone. And until next time, we'll talk soon. Now I get to hold an awkward smile while